the I'm a Fan Of podcast. Music, comedy, and more.
Dez O'Neal.
What's good,
What's
man?
up, man? I'm excited to finally get you in here.
Man, it's long overdue.
Yeah, I was, well,
Long overdue.
so I caught you, most recently I caught you at you headlining DCC.
Yeah.
But before that, first of all, everybody was telling me how funny you were. They're like, killer, funny dude. But I'd only seen you, I kept seeing you like random shows. Like
Random?
Yeah, like not at a club.
Okay.
I don't know if, like, I think I saw you maybe at an open mic here and there. And then the biggest show outside of that was at the Fillmore with the Cowabunga guys.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like,
The one that we was like outside, or was that in Plano? Well, I think both of them.
it was in Plano inside.
Okay,
It was at the
Plano
Fillmore.
one. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, it's been a while. And I was like, I got to see him in a club. Because, I've watched enough comedy now. It's like you can tell when somebody, like if you're funny in a bar, right, you can tell you're going to kill on stage a lot of times.
Yeah.
And so I was just waiting. I was like, I just need to see him in a club. I don't want to see a 10, 15-minute set. I want to see a full set.
Okay.
So that was Dallas Comedy Club.
So I had to impress you.
No.
I was like, I had to impress him. I'm like,
No,
okay.
I wanted to get
impress
I feel like, but you've been doing it long enough. I feel like a guy like you, if I watch you for 10 minutes, I'm not getting a full experience.
you. Okay.
You know what I mean? I wanted to see a full, because how much time did you do at DCC? That was at least 40, right?
Yeah, 45. Yeah.
45, yeah. And so that was like, okay, I feel like I got to know him a little bit now.
Okay. Which show were you at? The first show or the second show? I always be asking that show.
I was at the show.
Each show feel different.
I was at the show that had your loud cousin in the back row.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was like
Whichever one that
was
was.
the second show.
Second show? Okay.
Yeah, that was a fun crowd.
Yeah. You know what was fun about that too is the woman sitting next to me. I don't remember how. I started talking to her. Something. I just chat with people anyway, right? But
Yeah.
I was like, "How'd you hear about this show?" I was curious, and she's like, "Oh, I actually know him, but I haven't seen him in years." And I was like, "Really?"
Yeah.
And I don't remember her name, but she goes, yeah, I knew him when he was little. And she pulled out a picture from her wallet, like an old school printed out picture
Wow.
of you in the 6th grade.
Yeah.
And was like, I knew him back then. And I was
Yeah.
like, do you know him now? And she's like, I haven't seen him in forever. I
Yeah.
just saw he was doing comedy, and I wanted to
Yeah.
come check it out.
Okay.
And I was like, hell yeah. That's the
Oh,
first
my
time anyone's
classmate.
shown me a childhood picture of the comic
That's crazy.
at a show.
That's
yeah.
dope.
Did they say hi at the show?
They did, man. That
Yeah.
was my
So
class.
you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Is that exciting knowing you're from Dallas and people that you hadn't seen in a while are coming out to shows now?
Yeah, but some of them past do. I'm like, y'all been seeing me do comedy for how long? And but
Yeah.
it's all love. I appreciate the love anyway, but
Yeah.
sometimes you just got to be like, I'm just gonna focus on people that don't know me, because when you worry about your classmates and people that knew you growing up, they kind of waiting on you to be.
Yeah, but do you still know many of them? Or, she made it seem like she just saw your name pop up somewhere.
Oh, me and her Facebook friends, Instagram friends.
So she was lying to me.
we friends on social media, but
Okay.
we weren't hanging. We don't hang out
Yeah.
or nothing like that.
Yeah. No, it was a good time, man. How do you like
Yeah.
that new room, the way they redid it all?
Man, it's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful room. I like it, man.
That was the first show I'd seen the new setup.
Oh yeah, man. It looked real luxury in there.
Yeah. The old one was fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But this is way better.
Oh yeah. The other ones just had that. It was like a long stage, like
It's so improv could
yeah,
still do
improv
their thing,
stage.
right? You
Yeah.
know, and it was fine. But this new one now, like the way they curved all those
Yeah.
booths where it's just focused right on you now.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool, man. And then all the little accent lighting that you're right. It's like a more luxury look in there.
Yeah.
Now. It looks really high end. I
Like
got
you finna get shrimp and scampi's in there or something. Right?
Well, I just got excited. It's one of the few clubs that I know some of them want to and don't have the money,
Yeah.
but some of them have the money and don't want to. So that was like the first time I've really seen someone invest a lot of money back into their club. You know,
that was. Now that
there's
you
no
say
way that was cheap.
Ain't no way.
Yeah.
Ain't no way. You're right about that. Like to see it, them doing the construction and then see the finished project. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. And so you were probably doing comedy back in the old
Dallas
Comedy
Comedy
House days, right?
Yeah.
So you've seen the change of like,
Oh yeah.
even though it's changed names and ownership, that club's gone through a lot. And
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
Man, I found my way at Dallas Comedy House.
Is that where you started?
Yeah, like I remember when it was on. I think it was on what was that, Main Street?
I remember
'Cause the first one.
I remember the one that is at where Terry Black's is.
Where is it? That barbecue place?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's literally
not that
right
one.
behind where it is now.
Not that one.
Yeah.
The other one.
Okay. See, I don't
I
think I ever saw
started
that
at
one.
that one. You know what I mean? The one that was by Cane Rosso.
Oh,
that pizza
okay.
place. It was like right across the street from Cane Rosso.
Yeah.
And I mean, I found my way there.
Were you doing open mics there?
Yeah, open mic, man. Like when people used to sit out in the front, they put the list out in the front. People were signing it, and or you had your friend go out there, they sign your name, and it was a time.
Man,
it definitely was a time.
Like,
I missed them days.
I'm very happy with what Dallas Comedy Club has done since they took it over.
Oh yeah.
But you do, like, especially doing this podcast, man. It's like I talked to Cheyenne Jahani, and it's like that's what he told me how he got a DWI, so his second DWI, so he had to take the bus. And when he took the wrong bus, it dropped him off in front of DCH, and that was the reason he started.
Wow.
And then he met his wife doing comedy. So it's like this little hub, you know, of DCH. It's like it's nice that DCC was able to keep it going. But when you start,
I didn't even really know that they was attached to it.
Well, I think they just bought it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think during the pandemic they were suffering like everybody, and I think they just couldn't keep it going. I mean, I don't know for a fact, but that's the vibe I got. Is everybody was struggling and they just couldn't make ends meet and had to let it go. And then the new owners, what's her name, Rosie Carruth and her husband. Yeah. I think they were the ones who picked Ian. Yeah. So they, for whatever reason, decided to get that and now kept it going. But
shout out to them too.
Yeah, man, because you hear like stories like yours. It's like DCH was so important to the scene. For so many years. You know.
Hell yeah, man.
So I was glad they could keep it alive. What made you want to do an open mic there to begin with? Or that was kind of the beginning of comedy for you, right?
Yeah, there in the Arlington Improv open mic. Like,
which was the very first?
The very first time I got on stage will probably be Hyenas. It was in Arlington. They had one in Arlington.
Oh, I didn't know they had one over there.
Yeah.
So they've tried one in Arlington and they tried one in Plano.
Yeah, it was in Arlington and then it's not there anymore. But that was like my very first time on stage. But that ain't where I found myself. I would say I found myself at Arlington Improv and DCH on Tuesdays.
What do you mean found yourself?
Where you just kind of start finding you're funny. You know, you getting on stage, getting those reps in. You know, those were the places that was allowing me to get those reps in at the open mics.
What was the turning point, though, of going on stages, not knowing what it is that makes you funny? Like, was there a moment where you realized, like, I think this is it? Or was it just a slow kind of grind of it?
It really was a slow grind because, I mean, you can figure out some jokes that's funny, but not necessarily find like your tone or your sound. You just up there doing jokes. So it was a period I probably was just up there doing jokes. You know what I mean? And it was funny. And then after a while, you start getting more seasoned. I say when I got comfortable doing 15-minute sets and feature sets is when I'm like, okay, I think I know how I need to lay into myself or lay into
that
these
makes
jokes.
Sense for you, though. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. I feel like the way you go, you know, you can make a 10, 15-minute set funny. You know how to do that. But I feel like to really get your full experience, you need a little time to stretch out. Yeah. You know, because you're not coming in there. Well, in the early days, were you coming in high energy or were you doing it the way you are now?
I mean, I always
you're not low energy.
I'm not
just
super
yourself.
low, but I'm not up there like
you know what I mean.
You know what I mean?
You know how new comics hit the stage.
I was always kind of laid back. You know what I'm saying? That's what people said about me. Like, you don't seem like you trying. So it made it, I guess, natural. But I still felt like I was, you know, I guess robotic or something like that because you just want to try to be loose as much as you can.
That's a good way to put it. You're just stiff. Somebody, you know, that little Facebook DFW comedy group?
Yeah.
Somebody in there just posted about, like, how do I slow down but keep high energy? And it's like, I don't think you need, I mean, and I just watch it.
That's a tough question.
I just watch it. I don't perform. But to me, like, from watching, I feel like that might just be a myth that you've got to keep a certain energy level. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think if you just, it feels to me like when someone tries to be, you know, like have good energy or high energy, it's like you can see through it, you know, you can feel it.
Yeah,
it's a little phony, right? Yeah. And to me, it's like, I'd rather you be real natural to who you are and just work on the jokes, right? Yeah. Because like Tyler Elliott's another good example. That's about as slow as it gets.
Oh, yeah. And he
drags you through the dirt.
He drag you through that. And I done seen him slaughter with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've seen him come up after really high energy people, too. Yeah. And he doesn't compromise at all. He's just like, hey. Yeah. And then he'll just be quiet and silent for a few minutes. So.
But when those people that do their jokes like that, when they're in their rhythm, it's really not low energy. It takes a lot of energy to deliver those jokes in that type of tone. Like, imagine like doing somebody that's high energy and telling them, hey, just sit down and do your jokes. Don't move. they gonna be like, this is hard.
I
You
see
know what I'm
what
saying?
you're
It take a lot of concentration to just focus and be still and land those jokes without all that movement. So you probably think Tyler Elliott is just up there like chilling, which it may come across, but when you see him in his rhythm, in his pocket, like that take a lot of energy to do that, to time it.
You feel
know what I
that
mean?
way too, though, because you run a little slower.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
like for sure. Like I'm like, y'all think I'm up here just BSing, but to time it and deliver it and to land the joke, especially you got to figure out the room too, because each room is different. You know what I mean? Each room want to feel the joke a little differently.
Yeah. What was the moment when you realized, like, I'm going to go hit an open mic and try and tell a joke?
Man, when people just kept telling me, bro, you need to do comedy. You need to be a comedian. And just something in me just was telling me, look up open mics and just do it. Before comedy became a quick viral thing and everybody was trying to do it, back when everybody was trying to be a rapper, I was trying to be a comedian. Like, I felt like a unicorn. But now, it's a little different.
You're right. It's in a boom right now.
Yeah, it's like anybody with a cell phone is a comedian. Like, you got rappers just like, I'm finna be a comedian.
Yeah, someone mentioned something the other day about, they were talking about how you'll do 3-4 open mics and then you'll throw comedian on all your social medias.
And don't even know, no struggle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. They've got
No
that picture
struggle
of
of
them
it.
holding the mic. I'm a comedian, you know. And I was like, that's real interesting. You can make it look like you know what you're doing pretty easy now because of social media.
And some of these clubs be giving a lot of people stuff a lot, like quick, like real quick. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, y'all kind of messing up the game too.
Yeah, I go back and forth on how I feel about that. I'm just kind of watching and learning right now because, you know, on one hand, it's good, right, that you got people jumping in and doing it. But, and you can probably speak to it better than me because just through this podcast now, you know, I started this in 2019 and I was going to, you know, club shows. But in 2019, just before that is really when I started going to just watch open mics, bar shows. So I feel like, you know, I'm at the point of somebody who maybe, like if I was on a comedian's journey, I'm like, maybe I just started hosting consistently.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of my knowledge of how all this works.
Yeah.
So I still got a lot to learn. But I have seen a couple, like kind of classes of comics come and go now. People start up and then they don't make it. And then some of them stick around.
Yeah.
And it seems like, you know, I don't know, probably like 70% of them fall off after they start, right? It's a big number, wouldn't you think?
That's a big chunk.
Yeah, and so it is interesting how somebody will have like a good 6 months to a year where they're kind of, it seems like they're getting a little funny, they got a little bit going, and then about a year in, for whatever reason, writing or whatever, they just fall off.
Where they at?
Yeah, yeah, they're not there anymore. So you feel like maybe there should be a little bit of a grind and a struggle before you get those?
I mean, just a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be some people that just start doing comedy and they already doing paid shows. It took me a while to just get on a flyer.
What's
like,
a while, you think? A couple years?
I wouldn't say it was probably felt like a year, but it wasn't like 3 months, 4 months. It was like forever, like just to get on a flyer. And it wasn't even like a comedy club show. It was another comedian putting me on the show. Him doing something in a bar. So it took a while for people to, like, I guess I went through a grind. Even though I was funny, like it took a while to get, like, to open, to be a host, you know. And it took a while to become a feature. You know, it took a while for them to be like, okay, we'll let you headline. Like, it took a while. Like, some of these dudes got 15 minutes, they out here headlining. They barely got 15. Barely got 15. Like, they'll do 5 minutes and the rest be crowd work and BSing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is fun, you know, but...
I won't name any names, but I've been to a show of someone who is very famous now. You know, they had a big viral hit of something. And I was like, well, I want to go see what their stand-up's like. They're super funny, you know. And you noticed they got in there 15, 20 minutes in, and then it's turned into like, you know, crowd work. They're reaching.
Yeah.
They're trying real hard.
They asking questions.
And
What
it's
y'all...
like, you know, good for you that you're making your money. You know, but as far as the, like the discipline of the craft, it's like you're really disappointed. It's like, man, that sucks. It's, you know, I wish you would have just taken a break and or just stayed at your level, keep being funny, work up until it's just a killer. But, you know, who am I to keep money out of your pocket? But yeah, I go back and forth on it because you don't want to think it's like a gatekeeping situation where, like, if you're funny, people are keeping you out. But then you also see the other side of, like, man, it's kind of nice to have people who kind of set some standards.
Yeah.
and help you go like, I got to aim a little higher. Like I'm funny, I'm doing well, but I got to pump it up just a little bit more.
Just a little bit.
You know, because from an audience perspective, you know, I like that because now you know, okay, if I go to this spot where there is a little bit of gatekeeping going on, everybody's going to be good.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's just throwing their buddy up.
That's the perfect way to put it. Throwing your buddy up just because you like them and you know they ain't ready.
Yeah.
Come on now, because I done been to a club and some of the people walked out because they were like, he wasn't funny. Or you don't want people just walking out like that. You know, you want people to at least be able to sit through it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and it's not even preference, right? Like I've watched some comics that were not for me. Like, I didn't think they were that funny.
But you were still able to sit through it.
Yeah, well, and what happened is I was watching everyone else in the room who did like it. Like, I was clearly the outsider, right? If there were 100 people in there, I'm the one who didn't like it.
Yeah.
And then something about the other 99, them just crushing it with them so hard, I was like, I mean, I don't know. They kind of reeled me back in, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll probably never watch them again, but that was hilarious. And you realize it's like, you can be objectively funny and I don't like you.
Yeah.
And that's different than not being funny.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and
people just walking out.
Yeah, and like, you know, when you see a whole room full of people laughing and it's just not your style of comedy, it's like you can still enjoy that.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you don't have you know, soft emotions and get offended, it's like you can still enjoy
the show.
Yeah. And it is interesting. I'm learning a lot, man. I'm excited after working with you know, Lawrence on his special. It's like that was real eye-opening to what it takes to fill that headliner spot.
Hell yeah.
You know, and hearing him talk about how even, because you guys started roughly around the same time, right?
Yeah.
Kind of in the same class.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just talking about how going from, you know, that block of material he has that he wants to put behind him now, and now he's started over. Now he's writing a whole new section here.
Yeah.
And it's like life's getting a little harder at the moment, you know, because he's got to go back to square one.
Yeah. You know, and that's him. I wouldn't just close that. I mean,
you don't think so?
No, I mean,
well, how much time do you think you have right now? All of it,
man. See,
that you really, really love.
I really, really love.
Yeah,
I
really
mean,
love.
I felt like I did an hour before, but it was a lot. I had to do like some teeth pulling with them people. I had to do some crowd work, play around. So I don't know. I really thought they was just gonna let me lay into my material and see how long I could go. But it was a bar show. You know?
Yeah.
I didn't have no opener, it was just me.
Yeah.
Like they just brought me up and I had to do an hour. And I did my time. That felt great. But
if you want to come in and just leave it with nothing left, like I destroyed, there wasn't a single gap in my set and everything was perfect. What's kind of your favorite amount of time right now? How much do you like to do?
I like doing about 45. I like doing 45. That felt good, you know. But I mean, I want to be able to do an hour.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So
just where it's
more.
like 15 more, and I feel like I got it, but I haven't had the time to
yeah, that's tough. There's not a lot of places you can practice.
Yeah, you can just practice
your hour.
doing an hour. You know what I'm saying?
So what do? You just try to throw that new 15 in different spots?
Yeah, I just been sandwiching jokes, them. That's why I'm like, I mean, I guess he just so bored with his material, he just retiring it. But,
I don't know if he was bored. And, you know, I'm speaking for him a little bit, so you'd have to ask him. But, you know, we worked together enough. I feel like I kind of got an idea of where his head was at. And I think he is just, you know, he had all his problems with addiction and his marriage and all these things. And I think he's just trying to go like, okay, that's the old me. I'm putting it behind. That's kind of what it felt like is I'm closing out this chapter of my life.
Yeah.
It's time to move away from even these jokes. Let's kind of send them off now, you know?
Yeah.
And work on whatever the new Lawrence is going to be.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I haven't watched him perform since we released everything because I was like, man, I've heard you speak so much through the editing process. Like, I need a break.
You just need a break, huh?
I just need a break. It's like, go work on your material.
Yeah.
When you're back up to 30 or 40, I'll come check it out again.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I like how the mindset of it, though.
Yeah, it was interesting. And, you know, he's a real interesting guy. I'm sure you've known him longer than me.
Yeah.
And, you know, he seemed to know exactly what he wanted from it, which was really helpful. You know?
But I mean, if Netflix or somebody called me up and wanted me to do it, I'm finna do them jokes. I'm finna do them.
I mean,
jokes.
look, you've got enough quality time compared to some of the other people that have gotten put out there. You know, so and not dogging on them, just saying like, you know, now that I've seen that longer set, you know, there wasn't a dip or anything like you see on some of these recorded ones.
Oh yeah. Bro, I done had some people tell me that felt like a Netflix special. And and sometimes I get chills hearing stuff like that, but I be like, when can the world need to see it? You know what I mean? Like, what do I need to do?
It's good, man. I think all you need to do is decide, well, and this is just my take. What I liked when I was dealing with Lawrence is, you know, I like thinking of like, for me, I like thinking of like a package, you know, of why do you want to clump these jokes together? What about them to you makes a cool, great set? Not necessarily what's funny at a club, but like if I'm going to put these together, why do I like those, you know? So for instance, like your material that was really fun that makes me think that way is like the way you talked about your dad and how he talked about child support, dating women, those types of things. You know, it's like those are fun clumps, and they're very, very specific to you. So it's not like a joke that anybody could just write. You know, like even the little kind of throwaway, I shouldn't say throwaway, but like, you know, you've got your big, like when you're talking about your dad, you've got kind of that bigger chunk of his dating. Where you're talking about the type of, I'm trying not to step all over your material, but where you're talking about the type of woman he's bringing home and how like, you got caught off guard that it's not, you know, honey wheat bread anymore or however you say it. Is that how you say it?
Something like that. It's cool trying to hear people tell you jokes. You're like, let me hear you.
Well, I don't want to like say it. I want people to go watch you.
For sure.
But so it's like even those the tiny joke of like honey wheat, you know, that's really funny, but it's part of this bigger, you know, Dez O'Neal section that only you could tell, right? Anybody could write honey wheat if they sat there long enough, but because it's part of that big block, the rest of the block is what no one could recreate. And so for me, it's like, you know, I talked to a couple other people about recording stuff, and that's kind of what I told them. I was like, I think for, you know, if people wanted to work with me, what I like to see is what's the chunk of material that you feel like goes together really well and for whatever this story is, you know, for you. That way, when you're done with it, you don't feel like doing it anymore unless you're just having fun at a club and you want to tell an old joke, you know? That you feel like, man, I did that perfect. I really like it. And now I'm ready to move on to some new stuff and explore the new things. Because I think if you just do random jokes through the whole thing, it's going to feel like you just recorded a club show. Which is also funny. I mean, that's funny. But to me, I think if you're going to record something, you should think about, you know, like, why do you as the performer, what makes you want to record it and in a way burn that material, right? Like, why are you wanting to package it up and send it out to people right now? And I think if you find that answer, then it becomes kind of easy. Like the rest of it just falls into place. Because, you know, when him and I were talking about it, he was talking about, you know, obviously it's named Trina after his mom. A bunch of it's about his upbringing, being raised by, you know, a mom who went through incarceration, addiction, all this stuff. And then his grandma and everybody passed away. And then how his drug issues affected his life with his wife, his son. And so you saw that whether he realized it or not, it's like, okay, the whole thing is kind of about family for him in terms of like his previous family, his current family. And then the big connector of all that was just, he's trying to be better. You know? I'm trying to go from...
That sounds like Lawrence.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm just trying to be better. And so the funny is all the hilarity of how tragic it is, right? Because like if it wasn't Lawrence saying it, it sounds really sad, right? But he's just so good at making a really horrible thing get a hilarious laugh. I mean, like if I just read his special, you'd be like, this is a really sad book.
You'd be crying.
And so I don't know, I think you find whatever that is for you, where it's like whatever makes it important to you, that material, and then I think the rest of the pieces just kind of fall together. Like once you have the main idea, you know, it kind of clumps together. Because even his, like, and he knows this is nothing I haven't said before, but it's like the show, you know, he started off with some of the material that didn't make it in, where you're just kind of loosening up the crowd. Because this was new for him and for me, you know. He
did it one time, he recorded one time?
One time through. That was it. Yeah, it was pretty fun. I mean, I know people record 2, 3, 4 shows.
And they chop them up.
I'll tell you what, though. It's the only one I've done, but I liked the idea of
just
one take.
One take.
I don't know. There was something about, you'd have to ask Lawrence, but there was something about like a little bit of pressure that I think made it interesting. You You
'Cause
know,
I always can tell, like,
you can tell the cuts.
The cuts, for sure.
Yeah.
What tripped me out is, like, regular people just can't tell. You can't tell. They use that same laugh.
Yeah.
That's the laugh from another night. That is not that same. I could tell how he delivered the joke that they're not supposed to be laughing like that. They'll use the exact same clip of a laugh twice. I'm like, bro, like.
Usually if they cut to the crowd, that was an edit.
Yeah.
And,
okay. Yeah.
And unless the crowd was just so entertaining when they cut.
Yeah.
But no, there was one, and I like him a lot, but Ali Sadiq.
Yeah.
One of his specials, because what he did, is it Domino or something? He did like 2 or 3 versions of that.
Yeah.
I think it might have been the first one. He there was like a cut where you could tell he did 2 shows, because one, he must have done that bit at the earlier part of the show because he looked pretty like fresh and ready.
Yeah.
But the next joke, he looks like he's at the end of the show, like covered in sweat, got a towel on his shoulder, like 100% different. And then we cut back to him, not sweaty, no towel. And it's like, well, I mean, I'm glad you hit the joke as much as you liked it. But, I think he's as a good a comic, though. It's like, dude, you could go one take through.
Yeah.
And
people still rock with it.
Oh, yeah.
But when you taping, I understand it.
You
want to have the best parts of each of it, you know?
I get it, yeah. But, I mean, and probably I'm just thinking about editing. Like, it's way easier when it's one take.
Yeah, you coming from the editing side. Like, I ain't trying to do all that clipping and cutting.
Yeah. Well, have you ever thought about recording something yet?
Yeah. I mean, I've recorded some sets, but not where it was like multiple cameras and a big ordeal where I'm like, I'm retiring this material. But I mean, I'm down to record some, but I ain't never recorded some and put it out for Amazon Prime or something, or something like that.
Yeah,
on Temu or something like that.
What do you think keeps you from wanting to do it?
I don't even know, bro. I probably just thinking like, I don't want my material just on wax like that, where people like, I done seen you. You need to do. People already pressure you enough to do new material. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want nobody to be like, yeah, I done seen all your jokes, or somebody done seen my set and want to steal my jokes or something like that. So you have them thoughts, but I've been trying to get out of my head about that, because people are like, bro, you got to put the stuff out there.
Yeah, like the clips.
Try to put clips out there. Like, I'll be trying to put it out there where they can't even tell what I'm talking about. Like,
what do you mean?
Like, they don't get no setup. They barely get a premise. You just hear me say turkey bacon and the crowd laughing, and you like, what they laughing at?
Turkey bacon.
Boy, it's just turkey bacon, and everybody going crazy. You wonder what's going on, or I just edit like some crowd work or something.
Yeah. Okay, no, I get that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I know enough to give people some bad advice about what they should be releasing and not releasing. I don't know. It's just, somebody I talked to, I told him, I was like, I think if you're going to record, a big thing, not clips, but a big full, 40 minutes an hour, you should be ready to be done with that material and write new stuff. And they were like, oh, really? And I was like, well, I was just thinking, I don't want you to come to, I wouldn't want somebody to watch that and then come to a show and watch it again.
Yeah.
And that
you got a lot of headliners out there still doing that.
I know. It's just kind of lame, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it's easy. I know it's hard.
It takes time to build material.
I know it's hard.
It takes time. Like, especially if you a headliner and you probably famous or something, you ain't got time to really get in the trenches and figure out if jokes funny. Yeah. And honestly, I can tell when these comedians is performing some jokes that was written for them. I'm like,
yeah.
Like, I can
What do you think
tell.
about that? About, because I've heard of greats, like guys like Chris Rock having writers, and they're open about it. They don't hide it. But I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, I think I want to be in the trenches with you, and we all writing together. Mm-hmm. And if you throwing me a joke and I seen, and we all kind of heard you go through it, we all just going through the trenches together, and I'm just the big face and you throwing me material, that's cool. But I don't want to go somewhere and you already got this polished joke you've been doing or something, and you just like, I say you this joke, here's this joke. Like, that feel weird. You know what I mean?
Feel weird.
I don't even know how you can perform it and feel, you know what I mean, like yourself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because most of my humor really just sound right coming out of my mouth. You know what I'm saying? Pause. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I agree. Like, I was thinking about your material, a lot, like yesterday and today, just prepping for this. And you do have a unique voice around here, too, because you feel like almost like an endangered species. Like you are a Dallas native. You're not somebody who moved here.
Oh no,
you know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
born and raised here, and that feels like a smaller and smaller group of people nowadays.
It really do.
You know,
it's a lot of outsiders.
Yeah, you got a real unique perspective because I grew up in like North Texas. I've lived in Dallas, proper for like I don't know, probably like 10 or 15 years now. And Dallas is what I like, but we grew up northeast of here in like a little small town by about an hour away.
Yeah.
You know where like Lake Levon is, that area? No. Out by like Wiley, past that area. And so, I'm not even a Dallas native. I'm a North Texas native, but like a true Dallas native, it's like it does feel like you rarely come across those anymore.
You really do, man. Like, and that's why I feel like I probably need to go ahead and leave the city.
Why? Where are you going to go?
New York.
Oh,
LA,
you're thinking about
somewhere.
that? I thought you just meant like I'm going to move up to Plano. Like,
I mean, Texas is that big where you can look at it like that because Plano do seem like a whole nother world. You'll go to Plano and see comedians you ain't never seen.
Yeah.
You're like, what? What is it? You a Plano comedian? You know what I mean? You can go up to Denton and see comedians you ain't never seen. Like,
I mean, there's a whole little group up in McKinney doing their thing right now. That I never...
they trying to rebuild it out there.
Yeah.
I seen it. Like, they brought me out there. Pizza Graffiti. They got like
I haven't heard of that one.
I think it's called Graffiti Pizza or something. They got like an underground thing where they doing open mics and
that's good, man.
Shows. I
just had this guy. Have you been out to Tyler yet to Rose City Comedy?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, yeah. So you know those guys. Jason McAdam.
Oh yeah.
He was just on here, and I loved talking to him about how these pockets like that, like you were just talking about McKinney and Tyler, like they're going to pop up with their own legitimate comedy scenes over the next few years. And it won't be as big as this, but it will be like as important.
Yeah.
For sure. It's going to be a stop you have to go through.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah. And you were talking about Texas being big. Somebody listed some homes for sale, and they were like, far north Dallas. And so I was like, well, where is this? Because to me, far north Dallas is like 635 area.
Yeah.
Right before you get to Richardson. That's far north Dallas. And it was 100 miles north. 100 miles.
Wow.
I was like, man, it's like driving to Waco and calling it South Dallas, right? It was crazy, but that's how big it's getting, And I was like, yeah, that's not Dallas. But I mean, what do you think about the changes around here? Knowing that you've grown up here, how do you feel about a city that you're born and raised in, and from where it's been to where it is?
I mean, it's crazy work. I say that it is eye opening, but I mean, you got to evolve and try to keep up. To be honest, I'm trying to keep up, trying to keep showing my faces in these clubs. Connect with these younger comedians, these new comedians. And
what about just living here, though? How do you like it?
Just living here?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I love Dallas. Love Texas, but I really don't want to be nowhere. I just want to travel and do comedy. If I could just go city to city and do comedy and put this funny out there, I'm happy. I don't want to be connected nowhere.
You got the time together. What keeps you from just going? Is it that hard to get booked?
I guess fear, bro. To be honest, fear of being homeless or broke or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I don't have no kids, so I ain't married to nobody. So I mean, it's nothing really holding me in Dallas other than scared that I feel. I mean, I know all the clubs here. They know me. But I mean, it's not like I have a manager or something like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like I need to do something.
You're at my favorite part when somebody's thinking about. I love when people are thinking about doing something. Like a next step.
I need to do something. Like I be feeling unsatisfied. Sometimes I be feeling empty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes, for real. Like
maybe you don't need to record anything yet. Maybe you need to go see
some more stuff.
What's out there? Yeah, because you just the way you talk about it, it's like you've got that little bit of hunger where it's like. How much further can your funny go right now before you feel like doing anything with it?
Because I really need to see. I want to see other cities. Will they find me funny?
I mean, you're getting out from Texas though, right?
Yeah, I've been.
I mean, didn't you just win like a competition up north or something?
Yeah,
somewhere?
I was in Indiana. I done San Diego, Atlanta. But I still feel like it's some places I want to see.
Yeah,
like I've never been to New York. I've never been to Philly. I've never been to Chicago.
Yeah, you got to get up there.
I want to, I just want to.
Stretch your legs a little.
Yeah, man. Let me test out these areas.
You know anybody up in those places? I mean, you've been doing it.
I know of people, but do I know people to just reach out and ask for stuff and be soliciting? And I don't like asking for anything.
Well, hopefully somebody reach out already.
Reach out and touch, man. Help a brother out, man. Don't be a gatekeeper.
Yeah. I wonder if that's easier or harder these days, right? Because you've got social media just pouring people out left and right with their clips. I wonder if it's harder for people to kind of take a chance on somebody coming into town, knowing that just because you got 5 funny minutes online doesn't mean you're actually good in a club.
You're actually good in a club. I mean, it's all about connections and references, stuff like that. Like, I never just got in the club by just sending them my email and my clip. Like, it was always a comedian that was already working there that knew me, and then when they tell them, like, yeah, look at Dez's clip and check him out, he woo wop woo, then they like, okay.
Well, what about the beginning around here? Would you just like, like let's just pick a place like Hyenas or something, because you do regular work there now, right?
Yeah.
Were you just hitting up open mics and then they just kind of saw you and were like, hey, we think you'd be good as this? So at all your clubs, did you have to go through that process?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I went through that process probably at DCH and Arlington Improv and Backdoor. I went through that process, and I mean, when I started winning stuff and getting notarized, Hyenas, they knew of me, but back then Hyenas had like a lot of different type of rules type stuff.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about
they changed
the evolution of how they run things.
Yeah, they had some rules where you couldn't like work other places and stuff like that. It was like different,
Yeah, I've heard about the radius.
Yeah,
from a few people. I don't know what it is these days, but
so I wasn't really in that circle. But I'm thankful to be. They knew of me, and I worked there before, but I just wasn't really in the circle. It didn't go through the process. But
yeah, that's one thing I wish I understood more is, like I have these dreams of like I'm a fan of in the long run becoming some kind of like, I don't know if comedy needs like a label or whatever. I don't know if it needs that, because I don't want to own people's things.
Yeah,
but I do want to build some kind of step ladder for people. Like when you see that they're getting better, you see that they want more.
Yeah, that
you've got the context to kind of reach out and help people get a bone thrown their way.
Yeah, it need to be some app or something.
Something,
like, some
right?
type of app where comedians helping each other.
And I think it should go both ways, right? Because I think in those other scenes you're talking about, New York, LA, Chicago, wherever you're talking about, I think there's comics up there that if we had the opportunity to see them down here in Dallas, Dallas, Fort Worth, the surrounding areas, whatever, and just do a killer, 30, 40-minute feature spot or something, even like something a little abnormal, but I would love to see some of these killers in these other areas that don't get out as well.
For real.
It's like we got to get some kind of like comedy swap thing going on.
Yeah.
It's almost like one person on every show. It would be great if they were not from here and got to do a weekend,
cool.
and then kind of just trade it off. When I used to play music, that's what we would do. It's like if you brought us down to San Antonio, we'd bring you up here.
Yeah.
And just best of luck, man. Here's your shot.
Yeah.
We can't do anything more than bring you here.
Yeah.
It's up to you now.
Yeah.
But so it needs something. We're big enough that there's a lot of opportunities for anybody who wants to come through.
We need like a comedy underground railroad or something where we all just connect with each other.
You joke about it, but that would be awesome.
That'd be dope.
That would be awesome, man.
For real.
Or like, if you just had like a school bus, it's like you guys just load it up and it's like, all right, we're hitting this circuit.
Yeah.
We're going through the summer.
Yeah.
That'd
be tight.
That would be pretty awesome. Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. So if you had to choose now, where do you think you'd go? If you had the money, didn't have to worry about it, could just pick up and go.
Man, I would love to go to New York.
Yeah.
I would love to go out there and see if this country bumpkin can make those East Coasters laugh. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
See if these jokes land out there. Because I done have people from New York they be out here, they be like, man, you'll work out there. Like, I'm like, really? You think I'll be funny in New York? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
I bet you'd learn a lot real quick too.
Yeah.
Some of the funniest people that I've never heard of that like when I see someone, I don't recognize them, but they make me laugh really, really hard. It's usually somebody, working down at the cellar or something.
Yeah.
You see those clips and it's like, it seems like they just have such a strong group up there, of really talented people. And, Pung's working his way up there.
Yeah.
Did you ever talk to him much when he was down here?
Oh yeah, me and Pung chopped it up.
Maybe that's your in, man.
That back door all the time.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's up there working, and well, what do you got to do to get up there, man? We just got to make that happen.
Man, I'm thinking like the lease in my apartment about to be up. Like I don't think I want to redo no lease. I told myself I'm moving out, and however much money I got, that's just what I got, and I'm finna just dip.
Do you make most of your money off jobs right now or comedy? Like, do you need to get a job if you go up there?
I mean, I was hoping to have enough money stacked to where
Make a run.
I could just make a quick little run, you know, maybe pick up a job, but I really need to sit down and plan it out.
Yeah.
But my goal was to not redo that lease.
Do you think you would work harder when you got up there? Like, do you think the pressure of having some money saved that might run out would make you work? Or do you think, I don't have enough money saved, I'm going to have to get a job and do comedy up there? Like, which one do you think makes you work harder?
I think definitely not having a job is going to make you shit damn near put a dress on. You start running out of money, man. I put the dress on. Nah, I'm playing. I ain't put that on. But I'm just saying, it definitely make me like be trying to strategize and think, you know. When you
what's the dollar amount in your head that you feel like, if I can save this, I'll go?
I don't even know, because I told somebody that lived in LA a dollar amount, and he was like, "You need more than that.
You need more."
Yeah, I'm like, damn. But I'm hearing more people tell me, bro, it's no dollar amount. Like, I be seeing these little clips and stuff that these people that done took risks. They're like, you gonna be waiting forever, waiting on, oh, I need this amount of money.
That's what I was asking, right? Because you know, at first, if you're like $5,000, you know, and then you're like $10,000, and you're like, I don't know. I looked at apartments up there. I'm gonna need 15.
Yeah.
And like, does the number just
keep
growing?
So it's like, now I don't even really think about a number.
Yeah.
To be honest, I just need a plan to where, okay, I'm out here, I got this little job or something, and this is where I'm staying right now, and you got at least 3 to 6 months to find yourself out here.
Yeah.
I just need something set up, and I'll be like, okay, but that sounds too safe. You know what I mean? You probably just need to go out there, man. I don't know.
I know.
Then people tell me, oh, you need to just visit first.
That's what I was going to ask you next. I was like, have you thought about just going?
Yeah.
Seeing if you go there for 1 week for a trip, right?
Yeah.
If you can just, I'm going to go for 1 week and just, how many comedy spots can I get in 1 week? Like, just do a little test run of like, I went up there to see how many shows can I do in 5 days without knowing anything. Yeah. And then just see what happens. See if maybe that, but then, you know, that's kind of just dipping your toe in too. So maybe that'll scare you off when it shouldn't, or maybe it gives you false confidence. I don't know.
It's something I need to do.
Yeah.
And I need to do it I normally would wait to submit for some festival so I can have like, oh, I have a reason to be out here. I know places they get me on these amount of stages and blah, blah, blah. But some comedians just go places and then just try to go up.
I'm a bad person to talk to because I'm the person who's going to be like, you got to do this, man. You got to go. Like, but that it always comes from a place of, you know, I don't want to die with any regrets.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think my impression of this, and like, please, like, talk to other people besides me.
I'm gonna talk to my pastor before I do anything.
Right. Don't purely listen to me. But I just view it as, you know, if you know it won't ruin your life, right?
Yeah.
If you're not going to be homeless, and that was the thing that made your life over.
Yeah.
You know, like, you can't even come back to Dallas. We miss Dez. He's just homeless in New York now.
Yeah.
And like, nobody will even go pick him up and drive him home, right? If you're not going to hit that point, then I think you got to try it.
At least.
Because otherwise you're going to be sitting your ass, like the way you talked about just now, you're going to be sitting your ass down here in Texas wondering.
Yeah.
Wondering,
what
right?
Could have been.
You got a good idea of what you can do around here.
Yeah.
And I think people can make stuff happen from here, right? Like, I think there are a handful of veterans here from DFW. I mean, Ralph is talented, but that's kind of an exception. Like, that type of rise to fame is very rare, right?
Yeah.
But now he's talented enough to keep it, and that's what I think he did really well. Is he got these big shots early, but he could keep it, and other people would have dropped it.
Yeah.
But there's other people, you know, they grinded their way out here and made real careers out of it. So it can be done, but I think it sounds like you've got this hunger that you want to see what New York has to offer.
Yeah, man.
You know, and so I think when you talk about it that way, it's like, well, do you want to do another lease and wonder for another 12 months? Like,
Yeah.
if I'd gone up there this year, like, what would have happened?
Yeah,
You know,
man, I'm not.
when's the lease up? Couple months?
September, which is kind of close.
It's coming.
That
But
shit
that's
is
enough
kinda
time.
Close. That shit is close.
That's
as
enough
hell.
time. You can sell the car,
I really
get rid of
feel
all the
like
stuff you don't need.
I really feel like they speeding up these days, man.
Somebody's turning it faster.
Yeah, this shit moving too fast,
But you
bro.
know, to me, that's even more reason to kind of get excited about trying something new, right? It's like, how many days do you want to go by thinking if it would work? You know, you'd rather go up there. From what I've heard from other comics talk, like not on a podcast anyway,
Yeah.
is I think there's this fear that they're going to go, and if they don't make it up there and have to come back, that in some way that's like makes them a loser.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, man, it's like that's a hard place to make it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like anywhere you're doing comedy is a hard place to make a legitimate career out of, right? Like you can be in LA, New York, Chicago, Boston, Dallas, Fort Worth, wherever else,
Yeah.
Oklahoma City. And to go from being where you're at to like making as much money as Bill Burr is going to be really hard,
Oh yeah.
right? No matter where you are. So what's the problem with going and trying it this other place that seems to be kind of calling you a little bit?
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of how it's like, go see it. It's like, you'd probably rather fall on your face. It didn't work out. Come back to Dallas and then get back to work here.
Yeah.
You know, but something could happen really, really good up there, you know? And at the very least, stretching your legs, you know, telling your bits in front of comics that have never seen it before.
Yeah.
And you watching comics you've never seen. Because I'm sure you can recite half the comics material around here because you guys all work together so much.
Damn, man.
You know, so just getting a little fresh outlook on things.
Yeah.
I think, you know, and you seem, the little bit I know you, it's like, I don't think you're going to go up there and think in 6 months I'll be famous.
Oh no.
You know?
I try to be logical and
Yeah.
I try to be humble as possible, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and comedy will humble your ass.
Do you own your car right now? Is it paid off?
No.
No.
But you know,
You upside down on it?
no. Hell
Okay,
no.
so you can get a little money out of it.
Hell no.
Okay, so there's a little money for the New York fund because you really don't need the car up there, do you?
I never even thought about that. I thought I would have to take my car out there
I
so
think
I
if-
can have a car.
I think if you're
able,
able to stay somewhere in the city, I don't know if you really need it, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
You know, I think
you schooling me.
I think it's a city you don't need a car. It might be more of a pain in the ass to have it.
Yeah, so
I've never lived there, so I don't know.
Sell the car.
But I mean, when we took trips there, like I've been there a couple times, and it's like I've never needed a car. You know, there's always a way to get around.
Acura did call me trying to get me to sell my car back to him. I'm like, hey, that may be a thing.
You know, how many possessions do you have right now that you don't need? You can do a quick little garage sale, get a little money together. That way, all you got to go up there with is some clothes, some of the essentials, nothing weighing you down. You can pack up and go anywhere you need to.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's real life. What I would love to do, like just have a few clothes, the essentials.
You got till September to figure it out.
Yeah.
Tell me what you think is the, get me in your head a little bit. What do you think is the biggest thing that would keep you from doing that in September? What's the fear? Like in your mind, what's going to happen where it would have been a total waste of your time?
What's the fear that would keep me from going to do that?
Keep you here in Texas. Like I would have done it, but this.
A damn baby.
Do you have a baby?
Hell no.
Oh, okay. Come on, man, give me real stuff.
That's a real thing.
Well,
what if something happened?
Listen, man,
If somebody come but
wrap
talk
it
about
up
they got
for
a
a few
baby.
months, okay?
Oh yeah, we wrapping everything
There
up.
you go. Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Shit, we're gonna be a monk for a few months.
Well, if that's all it is, buy your ticket. Get up to New York already.
I mean,
no, but really, like, what's the worst that could happen?
I can mess around and get a good job or something, paying a lot of money.
Well, that sounds
I'm like,
terrible.
Get comfortable out here or something, or
No, I mean, what's the worst that would happen if you went to New York?
the worst that can happen. I mean, I would feel like I would go broke or something and come back with and lose all the money I done saved.
It's possible. Yeah, that's real.
Then really have to completely start over, which is a fear. You know what I mean?
But what, you got family here, right? Like you're not
Yeah.
the lone O'Neal here in Dallas, right? Would somebody, do you have somebody, if you had to, they wouldn't be happy about it, but they'd either pay for a plane ticket or drive up there and pick you up and bring you home if they had to. You got those people in your life?
I think I do. I
So
believe
that's-
I do, but boy, say
I mean, nobody would like it.
it's gonna be.
But I'm just
tough.
saying you wouldn't be like, I'm stuck in New York
Oh,
and
no.
I
I
don't
don't
have money for food. I'm
No.
stuck. And
No, but I think my family would be hella stressed.
Sure.
hella stress with me being out there.
What's the longest you've ever gone without a job? What's the longest you've ever gone without money coming in?
Shit, I couldn't even tell you. I always try to stay with a job, but
But you know why I asked that, right? Because like if you need a job, it sounds like you'll go find one, right?
yeah. I mean, I can find
So
a
it doesn't
job.
sound like you've ever had trouble getting money if you need it.
True.
You know, like you'll find a way, right?
True.
You've never gone like a year-long stretch without having any income coming in.
True.
You know, I think that's kind of the difference of people who can't make it work and can. It's like the fact that you've always had some kind of job means, you know, okay, if I need money, I'll go find it real quick.
Yeah.
You know, I'll figure something out.
Yeah.
So
I can get a job.
I think you got to do it, man.
You right.
September?
September.
I'm going to send you a lot of messages between now and then.
Hey, man.
I'm going to start.
Light a fire on my ass, man. I need to really strategize.
I don't know how to move
That's
there, though. I don't
insane.
know if you got to get an apartment first or show up.
I mean, I reached out to a few people I knew out there, but they was acting like they wasn't set up to even,
Sure.
you know what I mean, help me out. But, you know, I reach back out and keep on.
Would you live in your car for a minute?
I mean, you told me to sell it.
Yeah, but now I'm thinking, should we keep the car? Should
Now we thinking to keep it.
we keep it, and should you sleep in your car
I
for a
mean,
little while?
sleeping in the car in New York will be crazy work. Like, from the stories I hear about New York,
I don't
like,
know.
I'd be terrified to sleep in the car. But I've been seeing more TikTok. Sleeping in a car is cool. People like viral off just, I live in my car. Look at me. I'm a bum. You know what I'm saying? They like got a following.
Well, you know,
people cash apping them.
I think that's how Tiffany, I could be wrong, but I think Tiffany Haddish, I think that's how she went to L.A. I think she was sleeping in the car for a minute and then found it out once she got there. Tony Hinchcliffe's another person that did that.
Yeah.
That guy Hans Kim that was on his show, he did the same thing. And then you got some people who do it because it's just cool and trendy. But I think some people still just do that, man. They just get out there, get a gym membership so they can take a shower and make it work.
Hey,
But I don't know.
I may need to look
I don't want you
into
to call me the first day you go up in there and be like, they don't let you park your car anywhere. I'm screwed, man.
I'm screwed out here.
I should have sold it to Acura.
For real. I don't know, but it's definitely something I need to think about. And then, like, do I drive out there or do I fly the car out there? You know what I mean? Because I had a friend that drove his car to California, and he kind of was talking like he shouldn't have done that.
He should have just flown.
Should have flown the car. And I was like,
I mean, unless you love the car, I feel like you just get rid of the car.
yeah.
Unless you need to sleep in it, of course. But
Yeah, unless that is your home.
you know, but yeah, man, like why have one more thing that you got to worry about, you know, insurance, all that kind of stuff. Like just
Yeah.
get rid of it. If you're going to really make a run at it, make a good, you know, proper run of like it seems like you like the idea of having pressure where it's like I got nothing but this suitcase. I got to make it work. I got to figure it out.
I think I do.
I mean, nobody likes that,
Until
but
you in that situation.
it seems like you might respond to it and like hustle.
Yeah, I feel like that's.
Whereas if you
what I
moved up
need.
there and you had a nice little apartment, all that, so you might be like, oh, this is
That's
good.
cool.
Maybe
Got
2
an
weeks from now, I'll
apartment.
go check out an open mic.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'll stop picking on you about moving up there, man.
Yeah, you on my ass.
I'm sorry. No, I just it's fascinating, man, because it's a big life choice.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I don't know if it's right or wrong, but it seems like you want to do it.
Definitely right.
Seems like you want to do it. You talk to anybody in the scene that's done that before? You don't have to drop any names, but
I
is anybody?
talked to a few people that was here and they live somewhere else.
Yeah.
My boy Damon Sumner. I don't know if you know. him.
And they're not dead or dying or anything, right?
No, I mean he lives in Atlanta now. He's
Doing all right.
doing all right.
Hmm.
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, we got to figure something out, man. Anyway, we'll get past that. You talked to me about basketball for a minute because I just saw something that you just won a championship here.
Oh yeah, man. I'm out here collecting these stones like Thanos, man.
Yeah. What's the league you're playing in?
Man, I play in this league in Arlington. I think it's like LZ Odom. It's like a men's league. And then there was this other league I was in. I think it was in North Dallas.
Yeah.
Forgot the apartments, but they had this nice gym, and we won that one. And I just started getting on a winning spree. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
So
I'm
hoping the Mavs can duplicate what I'm out here doing. They need to go and sign me.
We need to send them a couple clips.
Well, that's
Show
what we
them,
need to do.
you know?
You know?
I got real jealous when you posted that clip of you dunking stuff.
Yeah.
I was like,
somebody need to add the Mavericks, man.
See, I played basketball growing up, but it was in a small town. And
Yeah.
so it was, it's
So
different.
you was LeBron out there.
I had good defense. Okay. You're talking to the defensive player of the year right here.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this.
Okay.
But what we would do, so do you know how the schools, I don't know what they are now, but you know how they used to be like 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, right? So we were a 2A school until my senior year. We went 3A, and that was a big switch for us. And we had a couple kids on the team that were actually pretty talented, like they had some potential. And they had the parents who saw their potential, so they were like, okay, we gotta foster this a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But this is all like good old country boys, and so it's like you got this big old country white guy in overalls trying to figure out how to get his son better at basketball, right? And it's just interesting.
Tough.
So anyway, what he did is he roped us all into doing summer leagues against these big, we'd come here to Dallas, Carrollton, these big 5A summer leagues, and they would just school us all summer. I mean, we would lose games, like 110 to 30.
That's
they would just own you, and it's like,
bad.
and if you made a layup in that league, if you were on our team and you made a layup, it's like you earned it. Like it felt like that was a championship layup, even though you're like 60 points down, right?
A championship layup. God.
Well, but then we went back out to our small town, and then we became district champs.
Okay.
Because it's like how it is when you're playing against people that are that much better than you. It's like you got to learn fast.
Yeah.
And some of these guys, like they would have talks to us before the summer game. They'd be like, "Hey, there's people on this team," because one of them, it was called Team Texas. Was the
I remember Team Texas.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Like these are guys who had legitimate opportunities.
They was cheating. They legit was cheating. One time my team, Top Gun.
Were you playing in these summer leagues?
Probably so, man. It was one team I was on, Top Gun. We was about to beat Team Texas, and it was some politicking with the refs. Man. I was like,
okay.
Man, but Team Texas, they had a lot of known people that went to college and did.
That's what I'm saying.
Stuff,
so they'd have these talks with us of like, hey, don't hurt anyone in this game. Like, don't
do no extra goofy shit.
We don't need to like box someone out in midair and like cause an injury. Like these people have real. You're coming here for this summer league to get a little better. So let's keep it that way. But it was a good time, man. And like it's like I felt like we got a little bit of respect because we basically just came in and got our ass kicked all the time, but you kept showing up.
Kept showing up.
Right. And everybody else was
respect it.
And I think the other teams were like, all right, great. We got a game. We can work on a couple of these new plays. We're definitely winning this one.
We definitely beating them.
And man, I'll tell you, I have never, ever been dunked on more in my life than that summer league.
They was dunking on you.
Yeah, man, because I'm 5'10", 5'11", depending on maybe 6 foot, depending on the shoes.
Yeah.
And guy like you, what'd you say? You're 6'4"?
6'4.5".
Yeah. So you're driving the lane and you're coming at me.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna take it, right? And all I'm doing with you is hoping like, am I far enough away I can get this charge? Can I do this? Like that was part of our league.
That was the goal.
Practice was like learn how to take a charge like a man. Cover the nuts, fall back, plant your feet. All right.
Yeah.
And that was like part of our thing. And but when we went back to our small town, it's like out there might have been one guy on the team who could do that, really throw it down, right? One guy. And they don't play against these teams that have a couple guys that can do that, and it's not impressive, right?
Yeah.
But we spent a whole summer seeing it.
Yeah.
So when they're doing the warm-ups trying to intimidate you, you're just like, dude, we've seen some guys really do this.
Yeah.
This other guy's going to UT, I think. And so that would kind of throw them off a little bit, right? Like they'd go to drive the lane, and then you would get that charge.
Yeah.
Because they weren't smart enough to go like, oh, I just go around that.
Yeah.
They hadn't seen people trying to take that charge yet.
Yeah.
Because everybody was so intimidated by kind of the flair of it all.
Yeah.
And so it was a fun experience to realize, like, okay, I'll never, ever be really good at this, but it's fun, and we're going to be good in our little small town.
Oh, yeah.
Because the moment we went to the playoffs, first round out. That was it.
Damn. Soon as y'all got in, get up out of here.
That was it, man.
Yeah.
That was it. And like, I think had we started, because we did those summer leagues I think we did it my sophomore and junior year, maybe. And had we started doing that stuff like in 8th grade or something, I think we could have done something, because I don't think it really clicked with us until that second, like the first summer we did it. I think we were all just shocked, like, oh my God,
what the hell is this?
We're getting torn up every day. Every day. This is so bad.
Yeah.
And like you're just trying to like keep your wit, like you're just hoping like, can I make a pass? Can I just make a pass this game?
We had some people on our team that was struggling with stuff like that, man.
Yeah. Now imagine us coming from little 2A farm town,
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this, but there's a drop off, right? Because once you go below 2A, then they get really good again. Like those 1A schools, because they don't play football or anything. They don't have enough people to play football. So then it's like you're playing against, 10 Steve Nash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the fundamental kings. And they're just schooling you all day.
You.
Yeah. And, but it was good, man. I miss playing basketball. Now I'm too afraid I'm going to hurt my knees,
Okay, yeah.
You just been playing the whole time?
Man, I try to stay moving, working out, playing basketball, but I just started probably getting in the leagues. I've been in and out of leagues here and there,
Yeah.
But
Those first couple jumps back where you wondered how it was going to feel.
for sure, man. When I first got back into playing, I thought you think it's like riding a bike.
Right.
But no.
Yeah.
Like you got to get the cobwebs off for real.
Mm-hmm.
And the speed, the speed of a game, because playing at LA Fitness and playing under a whistle is two different type of speeds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your mind just...
What are the leagues like right now that you're playing in? Do they take it pretty serious?
You think it'd be kicks and giggles, and then out of while it start getting serious. They be really trying to win them T-shirts. they be trying to win them T-shirts at the end. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you have a few teams that's like, okay, y'all comical, and then you got a couple teams that like, oh, y'all,
they want it.
They want it. They got a few players. So
I played in a kickball league once.
Yeah.
And I thought, it's kickball.
I'm trying to get into some dodgeball.
I was like, we're going to drink a few beers before, a couple beers during, and then go drink a lot of beers at the end of it. That's what I was thinking, right? It's just going to be real relaxed. And then the team I got on was like a totally random thing. I didn't know anybody. You signed up and they put you with a team. And
they were serious.
A couple of them were, man. Like this one guy, he went to Oklahoma State University and played football there. And he was like our kind of like captain of the dodgeball team, which should have already been a bad sign.
Kickball or dodgeball?
Kickball.
Okay.
Kickball. And but it might as well have been when he was out there warming up, he was throwing the ball against the fence as hard as he could because he was getting ready to like peg people running down to first.
Okay.
And it's like, man, it's not that
for real.
This is a 25-year-old lady running down the first base, and you're trying to hit her as hard as you can. What are you doing,
man?
Yeah, and I was only on that kickball team that year because they were like if we were losing, they were like getting very upset.
Yeah, like I went to Sandbar one time.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers
Down in Deep Ellum?
Yeah, the little volleyball.
Yeah.
Like they asked me to play because I'm tall, and they getting mad at me because I suck. I'm like, bro, I don't play volleyball.
You were at a bar playing
we're
beach volleyball.
We're drinking. I'm thinking they really mad that I'm missing, and I'm like, bro, I'm not good.
Yeah, and it's like there's not even a natural beach here. You know this is fake, right?
Yeah.
This is a fake beach that they put beach volleyball on just to have a good time.
Yeah.
This is nothing serious.
Dudes is taking it serious.
Yeah. I played when I was in a band, we played a concert there one time. Somebody put on like a festival or something there, and we were playing, and the volleyball people were angry that there's like live music, because they're trying to be serious.
They take that
I know that plays very well.
pretty serious. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I think they tore that down now. I think it's gone. Yeah, I think I remember driving by there and it's gone.
Damn.
Deep Ellum's changing a lot.
Sandbar isn't there no more.
I have to.
You think
that's the one that was down kind of by the Double Wide, right? We're talking about the same place.
I only went a couple times.
Yeah.
It wasn't a place I just went to all the time, but it was a known place though.
I think it's gone, man.
Damn.
Deep Ellum's doing its thing. It's getting bigger and bigger. Because if you've lived here the whole time, and I'm 39. How old are you?
33.
33. Yeah, so you remember Deep Ellum in the more dangerous days.
Oh yeah.
Where it was like really, because people now are like
open mic, I'm leaving.
Yeah, people now are like, it's so dangerous down there. I was like, it's a pretty there's a shooting here and there, but no more than any other kind of downtown area. It used to be real dangerous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I had when I was going to school, I had a study partner. We didn't hear from her for a week. And we thought, man, she must have dropped the class or something. She sent us an email. She's like, I'm so sorry, I've been missing the study stuff. I'll be back next week. And she came in and she's got a sling, she's got bandages, and she got robbed and shot in Deep Ellum. And she was parked in like a well-lit area. And they said, yeah, this dude came up. We were getting out to go to a concert, and he was like, give me your wallet, give me your purse. And they just immediately gave everything, and then he just shot him anyway. And the bullet went through, she, I guess, turned, and when he shot, the bullet went through her elbow, and then kind of, she was holding her arm on her side, so it went through her elbow, and then kind of through the side of her body a little bit. And thankfully, it didn't hit anything horrible. But,
Damn.
It's like, that's the Deep Ellum I remember. And so when people are like, it's so dangerous now, I'm like, I don't know. It feels like I've walked a long way down Elm in Maine without feeling like it's going to get too sketchy anymore.
Yeah.
But,
damn.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's going to drop back off and get
I mean, you know, when it get hot, people start tripping.
Well, yeah, this
summertime.
Yeah, well, there's that one spot. I'll go get ramen. You know where Ani Ramen is?
I don't.
So if you're on Elm, you go down away from like DCC, like you're heading to downtown, and I think it's on the corner of Elm and I think it might be Malcolm X running right there.
Yeah.
But there's just like this one bar/club, and there will just be a line of people out that door.
To get some noodles.
No, not for the noodles. There's a bar next to the noodle place.
Oh, okay.
But I'll go to get noodles, and I'm wearing like gym shorts, flip-flops, and as I'm walking by, there's a line of like 50, 60 people who are like dressed up for like a club, like waiting to go in.
Yeah.
They just go ahead and park like 5, 6 Dallas cops right there, right in front of that building. And
I think I know that building you're talking
that's
about.
the spot, though, man. Once we start getting back up to like 105, that'll get a little dicey right there. But I'm still gonna get my noodles.
You're gonna catch a stray trying to get some damn ramen. Shit.
Yeah, I might. Luckily, Baylor Hospital's like
Right there.
I could just walk over right after I get shot.
Walk right in there.
They'll even know. They'll just be like, "Were you getting noodles?" And
Yeah.
They're like, "Why are you going to that noodle
Still
place?"
eating your noodles while they doing your shit.
Yeah, is this going to affect the stitches if I just
Yeah.
keep eating? Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if the like all that money that's been dumped in, if Deep Ellum's going to stay like for good now, because it kind of goes in highs and lows, or if it's going to go back to being a real like. I mean, do you remember when like all the businesses and stuff were just closed? There's hardly anything open down there.
I don't think I remember it when it was like. I know I remember going and seeing like buildings that were closed, but not where I'm like, damn, it's like the end of the world out here. It was looking like the end of the world out there.
Maybe not that bad, but you would you might walk by 3 buildings with nothing in it.
I think I do remember when it was kind of like that, yeah.
And it's like there was lots of little gaps in the brick where like a homeless person might be there, and
chilling.
you're wondering if they're just going to snap and grab you or if they're good.
But I just thought that was part of downtown,
right?
And that's what that is. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know if it is anymore, man. Now they're putting money in all these apartments down there, and I think a whole new group of like a Deep Ellum, like what it means to live and be down in Deep Ellum all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Watch, you're gonna move up to New York, and then it's just gonna explode down here.
I'm like, damn, why I come out here?
Like Travis gave me terrible advice.
Damn.
As soon as I get down there, Travis.
Now I'm stuck in the Big Apple.
Yeah. Has your dad heard any of your material talking about him? What's he think?
Man, he enjoy it.
Yeah.
He enjoy hearing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, all of it is the truth. Like, I mean, you embellish and add a little flavor to it, but
I died the way you were talking about him, talking about paying child support.
Yeah.
Because when I remember my parents, when they divorced, I was in like, I guess middle school. And I think everybody who's ever, like every father who's ever been told they're going to pay child support, and when they see like the percentage they're going to pay or whatever it is, it's like I very vividly remember my dad being like, whatever the percentage was, let's say it's 20%, I don't know. I remember him being like, well, hell, I'll just quit my job and you can have 20% of nothing.
Yeah.
I think every man who's gotten that child support paperwork where they see what they're going to pay has gone through that phase of like, you can't take nothing from me if I don't have it.
Yeah. People be trying to find ways to outthink child support, but child support gonna find your ass.
Oh man, but yeah, I don't know why I hadn't heard that you tell that material anywhere before until I was at DCC, and that's a good little chunk right there.
Yeah,
man.
People always say that joke as far as my dad jokes, and the one about I was somebody last night. Like comedians.
Yeah.
Comedians love that joke. Like that's one of the first things people come up to me and say, man.
You know what I didn't realize that I enjoy apparently a lot is fucking gas station material. Apparently, because Lawrence in his special has that little section about Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
And then you're up there talking about Quick Trip and Racetrack.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess I like gas station comedy now.
Because, I mean, you never thought like how people would like connect to something like that. Like
it makes sense because everything you were saying about Quick Trip versus Racetrack, like I literally a job I had was down off Greenville Avenue by Walnut Hill, and it's that scenario where like on this side of the street, it's like Park Lane and Greenville Avenue. You know that area over there?
Yeah.
So it's like on this side is Quick Trip. Beautiful.
Nice.
Literally across the street is Racetrack,
and it just
never ever pulled in there. Never ever pulled the car in.
I don't never pull a racetrack. It could be a brand new racetrack. I don't give a damn. We're a Quick Trip at.
I got pissed off at my wife one time because there's a racetrack off of Forest Lane and 75, and her car, like the tire pressure was low, but it wasn't flat. But when your tire pressure's low, that yellow light comes on.
Yeah.
So she was like, something's wrong with my car. This light came on. I have to stop. And I was like, where are you at? And she's like, I'm at the racetrack over off Forest Lane. I was like, why? Why? Even like in racetrack terms, that area gets a little rough.
Yeah.
Like,
Forest Lane racetrack? Come on now.
And I know, man, I used to live over off of, there's a little street called Markville. And it's basically, it's like between Forest Lane, Greenville Avenue, and 635. Over by like Audelia and those areas. And that was like the cheapest apartment I ever owned. We got a 2-bedroom apartment for like $600.
Damn.
And
I remember them days.
Yeah, and I was thinking like, oh man, we're gonna save so much money. This is gonna be great. And at the time, I was waiting tables, so I'd come home at 1, 2 in the morning with just cash in my pocket. And it was one of those apartment complexes where like there's no like the nighttime doesn't slow down in that parking lot. There's activity in this parking lot all the time.
Damn.
And it's not people that necessarily live there. It's people coming in, buying this from that apartment, selling this to that apartment. And then it was one of those complexes where there's always people just sitting on your steps. You know what I mean? And you just don't know. Like,
sitting on your steps.
You're just sitting there, man. They're probably just selling drugs or something, and I never had any problems with them, but it's like...
So you coming out your apartment and they just sitting...
Yeah, like if I was on the second story.
You coming down, they at the bottom.
You know how the stairs usually make like a little turn?
Yeah.
It's like they might be just right at the bottom of the stairs. And you come through and they just let you through. Just a little head nod. But you're just wondering like.
What are y'all doing here? Do y'all stay here?
Yeah. What's going on here? You just never knew. And like somebody got murdered in the complex. That was.
Of course.
That was great.
$600.
Right.
Somebody's going to get murdered there. It's going to be paraphernalia.
But it's like, for a while before I really knew what was going on, it's like I'd be walking from my car to my apartment, and I just had my pocket knife just out, blade open. I wouldn't be pointing at anybody, but I just wanted them to think like, who is this fucking of all these crazy people looking here? I need to blend in and look crazy.
Yeah,
I need to look like he's the right amount of crazy, just like the rest of us. And it was interesting. That lease ended fast, and I got out of there. But yeah, so she stops her car in that neighborhood for a tire that's a little low on air, and I get there and I'm like. You fucking, I was like, you're so angry. We weren't married yet. We were just dating. And I was like, yeah, no, I'll put some air in it. And I was like, get the hell out of here, please.
Yeah. Forest Lane, no sir.
That, there was a gas station over there by that apartment. I was pumping gas. A guy walks up and it's like, look, I don't judge you. People make mistakes. But when I'm pumping gas, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to deal with anybody, right?
Yeah.
And he comes up and the first thing he does is show me his felon card. He's like, hey, I'm a felon. He's like, I just got out. I was like, and I'm like, okay, like, where are we going with this? And he was like, I just need a couple bucks, just trying to get on the bus, get down to this place or whatever. And I was like, man, I don't have any cash on me. I was like, I paid with this with my card. I got nothing. I was like, best of luck to you. And he's like, so you got your card? I was like, yeah. He goes, well, there's an ATM right there. And he wanted me to go pull some money out of the ATM for him. Yeah.
Like, wow.
And
the entitlement is crazy.
And I was like,
crazy work.
Yeah. And he looked at me like I was wild for not doing that. Like he was looking at me like I'm the jerk.
But he must have been really desperate to show you, hey, I'm a felon. I just got out. I'm like, bro, am I the first person to say no? I can't be the first person to say no to you, bro.
I don't know, man. And I told him, I was like, I can't do that. And he's like, why not? And I go, look, man, nothing personal. I was like, I guess it's a little personal, but I don't mean it to be this way.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I don't know you.
Yeah.
I was like, and you just showed me your felon card. I was like, I can't go to an ATM with you right behind my back.
Right behind my back, and you telling me you a felon?
I'm sorry, man. I don't know what you were in for. It's none of my business. And he's like, real cool, man. Real cool. Like he was real angry with me as he's storming off.
And then you got to think, I'm going to get hit with this fee. This not my bank. So now I'm getting a $4 fee just to give you
donate.
some money, bro. Like, I would have told his ass.
It was an interesting part. And at the time, I didn't look like I had money, right? I don't think I look like I have money now. I drive a Toyota, but back then I was really trying to save money. So I went and bought, I grew up in that small country town before I moved into, I always lived in like Plano or Richardson or Carrollton, kind of those areas.
Yeah.
Before I got an apartment over there, I was like, I'm going to save some money. So I went, there was a a car on the side of the road on one of these country roads. They were selling for $800. Okay, and it was I think it was a '94 Geo Metro.
Damn.
You ever seen one of those?
I remember the name, but
I'll show you a picture. A Geo Metro. It was a 3-cylinder, no power anything, right? Like manual locks, manual windows, no power steering.
Oh no.
But it didn't need it, man. It was small. Like let me find it real quick.
I need my power steering.
Not in this car, man. You know how big the rims were? How big do you think the wheels were on this car?
Well, they got to be tiny.
They were tiny. That's it exactly. How
I've seen them joints on movies and shit.
Yeah, this is the car.
Family always struggling.
This
in
is
that
the car they give you in the movie when you're like at your bottom.
Yeah,
like when you're trying to turn something around.
Everybody in 8 Mile had that.
So somebody was selling one of those. It was a manual 3-cylinder motor, power nothing, and I bought it for $800, saving gas. And it had a huge dent in the hood. They wrecked it. The person who was selling it, huge dent. And so this guy chose me at the gas station, thinking I got extra money. You know, it's like, man, you make poor decisions.
Yeah.
But I loved that car, by the way.
Wow.
I wish I never sold it, man. It was it got like 45, 50 miles to the gallon.
Geo Metro.
Yeah, my buddy, his dad owned a like one of those little tire shops, like not like a discount tire or something, like an independent tire shop. He owned one of those in Mesquite.
Yeah.
And I told him I needed some tires. And he's like, well, give me the tire size. And I gave it to him. He's like, you're reading something wrong. Read it out to me again. I was like, no, it's this.
Yeah.
I brought the car up there because he thought like, he doesn't do tires, doesn't know what he's talking about. And he just laughed, just like you did when I showed you. He just laughed. Everybody laughed at that car, right? And the wheels were 12 inches.
Wow.
12. And he told me, he's like, it sounds cooler than it is. He's like, but I have to special order these. They're so small. He's like, it's almost like a trailer tire. You know, I got to special order these. And but since we were good friends, he's like, and he was just laughing his ass off. He'd never had to order this tire before, and he's like, I'll sell it to you at cost just because I think it's funny. Wow. And I was like, okay, well, what's the cost? He goes, they're $20 each.
Tires being $20 each
at cost, $20.
Wow.
And he's like, I feel like I have to sell you these for $20 just to say I've sold a tire this cheap, you know?
Wow. That's crazy.
And so that's what I loved about that car, man. Like, if anything broke, it was dirt cheap.
Cheap to get it fixed.
And I ended up selling it to somebody that I worked with who was going to go to college, like in Missouri, and just needed a car to get there. Again, like you're down and you just need something.
Yeah.
And I sold it to them for $800, and they drove it for like years and years after that. And it's like, damn. I wish I still had it now. Now I would love to drive it. Yeah. You know, it's like when you don't have to drive something like that, you love it even more.
Hell yeah.
But I'll never understand how of all the cars at that gas station parking lot, that guy
chose you. He
walked up to the hood smashed in on a Geo Metro hatchback. It was like, I bet this guy's got a couple bucks.
This dude got some money.
Yeah. But I loved it, man. I loved it. What's the worst car you ever drove?
Man, I had
Did you have one that embarrassed you?
Not really. I mean, I had a Crown Vic. I probably should have been embarrassed by that. I mean, I didn't have rims or nothing cool on it. Just a white Crown Vic.
Crown Vic.
Yeah. But I always had a decent car. I had a Monte Carlo I was in love with. 04. It was wrecked it. Had a SS Impala.
Mm-hmm.
That car got on my nerves.
Why is that?
It was always messing up, and then it had this clicking noise with the air conditioning. You probably can look it up on TikTok. Like Chevy, something with their air conditioning, it just started making some clicking noise. So I hated it because of that.
Yeah.
But my first car was my daddy gave me an Acura, and I'm in an Acura now. So
there you go. And what did you like driving the Crown Vic? That thing's huge.
I did. It kind of felt like a house, like a little mobile house. Like had a light in there that was about as bright as a kitchen light. You know? Like it was, the back seat was, you could, even in the front seat, you can put the things up and somebody could sit up there with you. You have 3 people sitting in the front seat. It was
those like that generation of American cars are like the worst, but they're kind of the best too.
Yeah.
Like they're so cool because nobody else in the world was making a car like that.
No.
You know, and like you said, you could literally fit like 8 people inside of that car.
Yeah.
You know, if you wanted to, you could do, because like you said, there's a bench seat in the front and then a bench seat in the back. If you really wanted to, you could pack in 8 people there, probably more. And I don't know, man, something interesting about that kind of style of car.
Yeah.
I love really small cars like that hatchback, and then I love really big cars.
What you drive now?
Well, now I just drive a Toyota, a pickup, like a Tacoma, just because it's practical, But like if I had my way, like I love a lot of they're probably terrible cars to drive, but I love those old like 70s cars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They just like you ever seen like an old Riviera where they have like the you probably seen it, you probably don't know what it
Riviera.
I can't remember when they stopped making them.
I think I like them El Caminos.
Man,
you know what I'm talking about?
I love an El Camino.
Look like a car truck. I always wanted one
There's
of them.
an El Camino, and then because that was Chevy. Ford's version is called a Ranchero.
Okay,
but I love it because that's why I have the Tacoma. Is like we've always got like a project or something where we need a truck. We always got to carry something somewhere. But I love cars, and that if they made like a reliable El Camino these days, like a new one. I would probably love it. I'd love it, man. I'd love it. The
El Camino.
Well, like I just like cars that have a little bit of style, a little bit of personality to them.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be like a great car. I just want it to have some personality. I'm trying to think how to spell Riviera right now.
Riviera.
Anyway, yeah, I love like like big, like a car that's almost like a boat. But it's so impractical. It's like. We live here in Dallas now. It's like all these parking lots we go to have small parking spaces, I can't find a good one here.
Riviera.
Yeah, I'm spelling it weird.
Alexa, how you spell Riviera?
Right. There it is. Let me find a good picture here. But they're look at the back end of this car.
Oh, snap.
It looks cool, right?
You going to tear somebody. If you hit something, you going to tear somebody's shit.
But just I don't know, man, the style of those cars was real interesting.
Yeah.
Like, so that's what I mean, like a big car. It's probably terrible to drive. It probably gets like 9 miles to the gallon. In the winter, it probably barely starts.
Yeah.
And that's like I probably can't get it up to 70 on the highway. I'm just going to stay in the right lane the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But I like it, man. What's your favorite car you've ever driven?
Oh, man. I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah.
I haven't even thought like that. Because I was in some rental cars and I enjoyed those. But I can't even remember like what year it was. I think I had a BMW one time that was
got some
up to date BMW. I was like, damn, I don't even want this.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was driving it, I'm like, I think I like this car. When I got home, I was thinking about that car and everything. I'm like, man, I really like that car.
Yeah, like I think people that don't live in an area like Texas where you have to, like you rely on your car here. Like you gotta have a car. And it's like I don't think they understand how like it doesn't need it's not even how much a car costs, but there's something about like some cars you sit in and you hate them.
Yeah.
Just when you sit in the seat and grab the steering wheel, and then some cars you sit in them and you love them. And it's like when you have to drive every day, every single day to get wherever you're going. It's like that makes it's like a big life. Like it's very important to how the quality of your life is going to be.
Yeah.
But
driving.
I'm waiting.
Texas.
I'm waiting for these self-driving cars personally.
Man, I'm not.
No?
Nah, man, it's too much. They got the Teslas that be doing that. You
don't like it?
Nah, it's cool, but I don't want to be on the road with somebody. I done seen some clips where they glitch up.
Yeah.
It's
coming. They're saying it might be where, like, eventually, like, you might be able to drive your car, like, out in the suburbs, but then when you get, like, into, like, Dallas proper, or a big city or something, or, like, New York, that you're going to have to let the car drive. You won't be able to drive it anymore because it'll be safer.
Nah, so if I have a wreck or something, because that's going to be on y'all. Y'all going to have to buy me a whole new car if y'all doing all this self-driving stuff.
Yeah. Well, the argument is that, I don't know what the numbers are, but let's say like 30,000 people a year die in car accidents, right?
Yeah.
And then you switch it over to self-driving and 10,000 people die. So it got better. But those 10,000 were still killed by the electric, not the electric, but by the self-driving car.
Yeah.
Well, but is that better?
Nah.
You saved 20,000.
I don't think so, man. Because then some people die. I mean, car wrecks, people die, it's their fault.
Okay.
You had an accident. Now it's on the company fault. Your system messing up. So it's like y'all caused that.
So it's got to be flawless.
Yeah, like nah, that ain't no good idea.
All right. What about, okay, if you're not going to let the car drive for you, what about, are you going to let like a robot in the house?
Yeah, I don't believe in none of that.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I got a joke about some AI stuff.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard that one. Or maybe I did
You
and I just
probably
forgot
missed
it.
it. You know, I said something about the robot police dogs that they be having.
Dude. Did you watch that movie? It's like Code 8, I think. They got a robot dog in there. And then, of course, like that show, you ever seen the show Black Mirror?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a whole episode about robot dogs that track
Yeah.
people down. That one actually really scares me.
Yeah.
Because, you know.
And I haven't even seen that. And I wrote a joke just knowing that they have that. I know they got them in New York.
Even a real dog.
Is he going to be on your ass and he ain't going to stop?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so you're from Dallas. You know how, like, down by...
I done seen him tell him to get off of him and he still on him. You know what I mean?
Well, you know how, like, they put those trails down by the Trinity when you're down by, like, this sounds really bad already, when you're down by the jail? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Well, it's like they put these trails and it's like people go, like, ride bicycles and run and all that stuff down there. And so I did that one day, and I was down there. I was like, I'm gonna go run a couple miles down there, and I'd been down there before, just walking my dog, like just a place to get out and kind of stretch out.
Yeah.
Well, right on the other side of the river, and it wasn't like a time when it was like real deep or anything. Like they could just come across if they wanted to. There was a pack of like 6 or 7 wild dogs, and they're just sprinting down, and they're, you know, they don't look like dogs anymore. They look like wild animals.
Yeah.
You know, they look way different than my dog anyway.
Yeah.
And thankfully, like, I don't think they saw me or they didn't care about me, but they're just going. And it's like, I was sitting there and I realized, I was like, I'm here. There's nobody around me. There's nobody. It's like, you know, and even if I could like call on my phone, what am I going to tell them? I'm down here in the Trinity River. Some dogs are coming at me.
Dogs are coming
you know,
at me.
it's like nobody's going to be able to save me.
Yeah.
And it's like it would have been it. Like if they wanted to come over and attack me, if they were hungry, you know, that would have been it. And that was like, I read like maybe it was like a year later. That was whenever they were having those attacks in Dallas. There was like stray dog attacks happening.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It was like one year there was a couple big ones that happened.
Damn.
And then I guess they went out and rounded up a bunch of stray dogs. But now you make that a robot that doesn't get tired.
Don't get tired.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Ain't never fetched.
It never. I think it's coming though.
I mean, they already using them. I think it's legal in Texas, in Dallas.
To use a robot dog?
Yeah.
You know,
I know in New York they have them.
They killed that shooter with a robot. Do you remember that?
Yeah. No, you don't even want to hear my thought on it.
I'd love to hear your thought on it.
Man,
you know which one? Are we talking about the same one where there was the shooter down? There was a protest or a parade or something, right? Protest.
They said the robot went in there and blew the dude to smithereens. That one.
Yeah.
Smithereens.
Oh, you think they just went and got him?
Man, I just think it was funny. I think it was.
Don't say that.
I ain't gonna say.
Tell
it's
me
funny.
what you think.
I mean, I don't want to, say fully what I think it is, but it's definitely make you scratch your head, like how something blow up and it ain't a crumb of him left.
Oh, well, I mean,
they said it was nothing left of him, like
well,
not a shoe, not a.
So what? Do you think they just
thumb?
shot him and took him, or what? Or do you think he wasn't really there? Oh, okay.
I mean, I didn't say anything. So,
okay. I'm not a big conspiracy guy.
That's the thing.
But I'll tell you one that I do. I feel really like, depending on the day you talk to me, I feel really confident. And then on another day, I'll be like, I'm so stupid. Why am I wasting my time on this?
That's how they play with your mind with it.
But that's how I feel about like 9/11, right? Like, I know it's kind of stupid to talk about. Like, I don't think it was fake, but I'm one of those where I'm like, did our country really do this to ourselves? Did we really do this just so we go in the Middle East and get all that oil and get all these war contracts and do all, because when you start,
because they said something about that.
But when you talked about nothing left, that's the one piece that always reels me back in is when you look at like the Pentagon and there's absolutely no wreckage of a plane.
Yeah.
Because it's like the big towers, when you have video footage of them crashing in and the plane just going away. Okay, it's like, I get that. Like, you see them going hundreds of miles. You don't get that either?
I don't even get that.
This is why I hate talking about it. Because you can rope me in real quick. I'm like, you're right. it was computer generated, you know, and
I
then
don't
tomorrow,
even get that. I don't get how the plane just disappeared in the building. It just poof, pow, and then like they rounded up all that metal and
that's the stuff that I don't get,
and
right?
then
When-
they claim they seen the guy's driver license or something. The guy that his ID, they through all the wreckage.
Whose ID?
The people that jacked the plane. It was like some.
Like the terrorists.
Yeah, they found his ID or something through all the wreckage, but y'all collected up everything, and I don't know, it's a lot of questions. It would just be like, bro, like this don't make no sense.
Yeah.
But the robot that blew the guy up in Dallas to smithereens, I'm like, I mean, it wasn't a thumb or a nail or nothing behind. You hear smithereens in cartoons, you know what I'm saying? Like,
So they're really saying they didn't find anything of him?
they said it was smithereens. It was nothing, no trace of him.
Interesting.
So it was a lot of stuff going on around that time.
Yeah,
Make you wonder, but I don't speak on those things because
I hear you.
people ostracize you and look at you crazy and call you the conspiracy guy. I don't want to be labeled as the conspiracy guy.
No.
But I do want to try to
But you know, also
make conspiracies funny.
But also, we're here in Dallas.
Yeah.
You and me, we can get in my truck, drive 5 minutes down the road, and we can see where everyone pretty much agrees that the government or somebody involved with the government decided to kill John F. Kennedy down there.
Yeah.
That's in our city. Like,
Yeah.
So to say like conspiracies aren't true, it's like, look, most of them are probably pretty wild.
Yeah.
But there's a couple, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it seems pretty likely that they didn't like John F. Kennedy and had him assassinated.
Yeah, I mean
That seems extremely likely. And like I said, we can go down the road and they've got an X painted right where he got
Right
shot.
where
I
he
mean, we
got
can look
shot.
at it and know that happened. And that's the only other one that I really dive in on is the 9/11 one, because when you see some of these buildings fall down that were never hit by anything, and when you know that all these rich people in this country play these games with insurance money and things like that,
then with this AI stuff,
you just don't want to believe that like someone's so greedy that you'd kill all those people to make a buck down the line. But then you read more about history and you're like, wow, people have done it before. You know, it's just, I think it's just so hard to grasp that it really could be that. And then like, you know, with any conspiracy, it's like there's probably a core of it that's like really true, where if you got the information, you're like, there it is. There it is. That's what we all thought. But then what happens is you get people really feeding into that. And so you got all this stuff around it that's really bullshit.
Yeah.
But that core of it, you know, that core, it's like,
But you know, the conspiracy world has been took over too.
well, yeah, people
You
just
got plants.
feeding stuff in.
You got plants that
Yeah.
they put in there, these characters that they act like they telling you the truth, but they really, like you say, putting all that fluff around,
Right.
keeping you from getting to that.
Right.
So even when you get to that, you like all this other stuff done distracted you.
See, and that's why I never fully like, even if I think somebody's kind of like a conspiracy nut, I never fully discount them, right?
Yeah.
Because that's true, right? It's like there might be a core of truth to these things, and then people will purposely put stuff in there to make these people look stupid.
Yeah.
And some people fall for it, so then they do look stupid. And some
Yeah.
people are like, no, that's not it.
Yeah.
Kind of like I don't really care for Alex Jones.
Yeah.
But you find out that some of the stuff he was saying back in the day that we all thought he was an idiot about is true, and you're like, oh my God, I thought that guy was a whack job, and he was actually right about a couple of these things.
Yeah.
And it's like, is it, you know, like how are you supposed to digest that now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
People don't have their own discernment no more anyway.
no, and it's so hard. Like you were saying with AI coming up, with the amount that you can fake things now, it's just going to get harder and harder to tell, you know, what's
and then
true.
you got to think like the fact that they told us about AI, like how long have they been? You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
How long have they been?
if we're
finessing?
allowed to have this,
Yeah, if
right
they
now.
like here, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? How long y'all been finessing and using it? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like how long somebody been dead and y'all been saying they allow you using their music and this person probably been dead the whole time, but they got AI to do that.
Well-
have you heard this site called thispersondoesn'texist.com?
No, but I'm going to look at it now.
You should look at
Okay.
that. You can sit up and just swipe that site all day and it will generate faces of people.
Who did you post about that? I thought you were making a joke, but you might have been posting about this site. You're talking about how somebody looked like the Wish version of something, or I'm gonna have to go to your
Right.
Instagram.
But thispersondontexist.com, people need to look that up.
Uh-huh.
Like it just computer generates faces of people, and you'll think that person exists, and they don't.
Oh, like the 100% don't
They
exist.
don't even exist
Oh,
at all. And
yeah.
they'll put up a face, and they'll look like you.
Well, AI's creating faces, voices.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna have like somebody's going to have to come up with technology that we can all run and go.
So what
"Oh,
I'm
that's
saying
fake."
is, what I'm saying is, they can put something on the news and tell you, oh, this person was shot down by 5 police officers, da 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 da.
I see what
and
you're
it done
saying.
been a computer generated ass picture, and people out here protesting, they mad and da 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 da.
Yeah, it could be, right?
Could be. I'm not saying that's true.
Yeah,
but that
yeah.
site right there make you wonder, like, and how this AI and CGI, it just make you wonder.
It's interesting, right? Like I think a lot about how
And then they say somebody done blew the smithereens, and
Yeah.
you're like, come on, man.
But think about somebody. First of all, like the world's going to get crazy here very quickly, right? It's going to get wild. Like it's going to be real hard to. But if
Super crazy.
you think about somebody back in 1850, and you brought them in our world right now, everything would seem so weird. Like how do they live this way? How do they do that? And we still get along, okay. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we bitch about a lot of stuff, and we want to change a lot of stuff, and we should change a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's still a pretty good time to be alive.
Oh, yeah.
And but I think about that. It's like, okay, we're in 2024. It's like, what is what's 2070 going to look like? It's going to be unrecognizable.
I mean, especially at the pace.
Just doing this podcast, like talking into microphones and stuff, is going to seem really old fashioned. This is going to look like a payphone. You know? It will, won't it?
Yeah, probably so.
I mean, because in our lifetimes, like both of us have used payphones, right?
I think I have.
Yeah,
before,
you had to have used a
Yeah,
payphone at
yeah.
some point, or you
Yeah.
at least saw one.
Saw one, and you saw someone use it.
Yeah, like you knew it, and it's like now you watch a movie that has like a beeper and a payphone in it, and you're like, this is an old movie.
Hell yeah.
And it's like, that was 1990 or something. And so, cell phones, podcasts, all these things, the laptops we're using for stuff, like it's
Yeah.
going to look so old because we
Yeah.
can't even fathom what new thing's going to be there. And we're just going to be running around with, we're going to have like some kind of weapon we carry with us for the robot dog if we need to get away or something.
Some little chip.
Like we might be running with like little handheld like EMP guns where we can just
Yeah.
shut it down or something.
You seen
Mm-hmm.
Ready Player One?
You love it.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I really love those types of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it seems crazy, but it doesn't seem that crazy.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's totally out of the realm of it.
No, that's what people call me a conspiracy, but I'm like, bro, I'm just open to
Yeah.
stuff outside of stuff what they tell us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's hard to.
Some people just like, this is what they told us at school and that's it. I'm like, hey man, that's how you want to live.
Well, and if you have an idea about something, that's got to be kind of hard too, because like you said, immediately they're just like, oh, he's the conspiracy guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, you didn't even hear me.
Yeah.
It's like, could you listen to it before you
Yeah.
say that? And some of them, because we, they showed, like, they think Kennedy was killed because I believe they were going to do they were going to like kill some American soldiers. Like our government was basically going to like either somehow kill them or let them get killed in another country. That way they could start a war. They wanted to start a war. And Kennedy was like, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't too long, he's assassinated. And, it's like, these are things that for the most part, people are like, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Like, we're not denying that anymore. And so what's all the shit we don't know that they did, that they're just orchestrating it all.
Yeah.
The one thing I can't get my mind out from right now is if we're really Earthlings or if aliens put us here.
Man,
I think about that a lot.
I know, man. My favorite stuff right now, I like talking about the firmament,
Oh, yeah?
and I like Hollow Earth. That's
Really?
I love talking about Hollow Earth. I love the firmament.
I don't...
You know what the
Okay.
firmament is?
Yeah, that's flat
Yeah.
Earth, right?
Well, it's not flat Earth. I
Okay.
would say it was the firmament is basically saying it's a dome over the Earth,
Okay.
and there's really no getting out. They ain't never been to outer space.
Oh,
type
no, I
stuff.
haven't heard it talked about that way.
Yeah, and it's in the Bible. They talk about it in the Bible. And if you've seen King Kong, they made reference to it. There's plenty of movies they make reference to the firmament. You've seen that scene in King Kong. You pick up the stick and he like throw it and then it hit the glass and then it just
Oh, no, I don't remember that. I'll have to
like
watch it
the
again.
latest King Kong. They make reference to the firmament and Hollow Earth in there. Like they make a trip in there and they say you're in Hollow Earth, and that's where you go in there. You see King Kong and Godzilla and mermaids and Tupac, like all of them up in there, man. Hollow Earth, no, I'm messing with Tupac in there, Adolf Hitler, they all in there.
They're in
chilling,
the Hollow
man.
Earth.
They in Hollow Earth. It's a whole other world in there, bro.
I can't tell if you're being real with me right now or not.
Hey, that's the point.
Okay, all right.
But I'm being real, but you know the Tupac thing is a little humor, of course. But he may be in there though, because they like, is he dead or alive? He disappeared.
What do you think would be the benefit of not letting people know there's a firmament?
I mean, so they can
like
play
why?
with your mind.
They can play with your mind.
Play with your mind, control you, and then it's like what knowledge or what will be out there for us to learn from that? You know what I mean? Like, they want us to just think this is it. But when you find out, hold on, it's a whole nother world over here. Like, what is the vegetation like up in there? You know what I'm saying? What the animals like? What the air like in there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's going on? Why y'all don't want us to go over there? Have you seen that commercial? Like, I think it's a car commercial. I don't know if it's Kia. I don't know what car it is. But they're like driving up a mountain.
Okay.
And they just driving up this mountain, driving. Then they get to the top of the mountain. And then it's like two dudes up there, and they got headphones like this, and they like painting clouds.
No, I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen that commercial, and they like painting clouds, and the people in the car like, I think we went too far up. You just went up to the firmament.
So, but I mean, if you're willing to believe that could be true,
I'm willing to believe that it could be true. I'm not saying
I was
going to
say, then you're also willing to believe that could all just be coincidence, right?
I mean, maybe so.
Could be, right?
It could be coincidence. But even before I got into conspiracies, I always said I didn't believe in coincidences. Like, I always said I didn't believe in no coincidence. Like, if all these stuff happened and that happened, I feel like it may have happened for a reason. Like, I don't understand why, they make so many references towards it. Yeah. And why they trying to keep us away from certain areas. Mm-hmm.
I think where I'm at now with anything, I'm not very religious, and but I've gotten to where I don't I'm not going to go too hardcore anymore because I think I just accept that we know so very little about so many things. Yeah, that for me to have a really hard, passionate view on a lot of things is just not beneficial anymore. Yeah. Right? That I should just be kind of listening to people, hearing these arguments both ways, and then just seeing what happens. Right? Yeah. It's like, I think it's pretty unlikely, personally, that there's a flat earth, and that stuff. But it's like, there always is a chance, right? It's like, I don't think it at all. But there's a very slim chance. It could be there. Just like, I don't know if the version of God that exists is an old white man with a big puffy beard that they show in all these pictures. It's like, I think that's probably pretty unlikely that this guy who was born in the Middle East looks like that. Pretty unlikely. But
what if he does?
I can't say there's not, without a shadow of a doubt, like any percentage of that being true. It's like, it very well, I don't know, it could be. Because on the flip side of that, it's like, I love like astronomy as a hobby. It's like, I used to have this big telescope. I love just looking through that and reading about these things and learning. And, the more you learn about the universe, the more you learn that we just don't know much about it. There's a lot to learn.
That's why they're trying to get past the firmament. They're trying to get past it. They be trying to shatter it.
That's the one I would probably have the hardest time accepting, is that all of the space stuff we know is fake.
Was a flea flicker.
I mean, look, it 100%, like, there's a possibility.
I done seen some clips where it don't even make no sense.
I hear you. But that's the hardest one for me to go, like, I don't know what would make me
not believe.
Like for instance, like if you told me you thought the world was flat and I could get you in a shuttle and you went up to space, you went past what you thought the firmament was, and you saw the round Earth, you'd probably go, okay, I was wrong on that one, right? Because like you saw it, right? Yeah. And I'd like to think that if like the moon landing was fake or if all this other stuff was fake, that there's something like that someone could show me. But I think I would still, I would have a hard time even just going.
Now that original moon landing footage, everybody done pretty much confirmed they was out there faking. You can see damn near ropes on them jumping around. And then there was some pictures of them. They had their helmets off, taking. I'm like, bro, it's a lot of stuff that don't make no sense with that NASA
I hear
stuff.
you. I hear you. I still think we went to the moon, but I hear you. And like, because I've heard other people talk about, and so now for me it goes conspiracy the other way, right? Like, now you'll hear people saying stuff like, yeah, we went to the moon, but the camera technology wasn't good, so they faked the footage, but we did go there. That
sounds janky.
And it's like, that sounds like a conspiracy, right? So it's like,
good.
Now if I try to defend it that way, it sounds just as ridiculous as we faked it, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, at this point, it's like, I think we went there, but I have to ask myself, it's like, okay, if we didn't, if they faked it, it's
why
like,
are they faking it?
But it's like, what is the proof I would need that would convince me? And it's like, I don't know what that is yet,
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it takes, like I say, people got to have their own discernment. You know what I mean? So what would it take for you to be like, well, maybe?
Because also it does make sense, right? Like if you say that we were in an arms race with Russia and we wanted to prove that we had superiority and we went to the moon and like, don't mess with us.
Yeah.
It's like, man, that's a pretty good war tactic.
Yeah.
It's hard to, I don't believe it, but when you hear it, you're like,
sound like it make a lot of sense.
not the worst theory.
Yeah.
Like if you were really just trying to flex on somebody and just make it seem like you don't want it.
Yeah.
You don't want, look what we just did. You don't want any of this. That'd be a good move.
And we learned all that propaganda stuff from Hitler and them.
Right. Well, and then now, now it's like, at my age, it's like, I lived through 9/11 and I lived through, them telling us there's weapons of mass destruction and all that was fake. All that was bullshit, to go over there and get some oil. And now that you've seen, they will,
lie.
They'll lie. And then more importantly, it's like they will send American soldiers to die in these foreign countries, telling you it's for freedom, and we know it's not now, right? And there's no arguing that.
So why wouldn't they lie about something else?
I hear you, Dez. I hear you. I'm trying to tell you I understand my own hypocrisy on the situation.
That's what be tripping me out. So why would they lie about something else?
But then it just makes me more upset because you're just like, well, what do I believe anymore?
Yeah.
I
went through that phase too.
How do you discern things now? Or do you just accept, like, if you're getting into these conspiracies, do you just accept that you're probably just never going to know things?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
is that how you go through the day now?
I mean, now I get to the point now I don't even really. It's like my eye for catching some BS is just I don't even have to go research, look at nothing. Like they do the same type of tricks. It's the same stuff. Like how you just was explaining. I'm like, bro, like exactly. So if they do it, they doing the same tricks. It's not working. And then they tell you in movies and stuff, so they have good karma. They like, bro, I told you. I put it in The Simpsons.
So you feel like they drop into all this stuff?
Yeah, you know who produces the movies and stuff? The CIA, man. They put whatever in the movie. So whatever they want in the movie, who you think pushing that? If they want some propaganda or some agenda in the movie,
I hear you,
or
because
tell the future.
Because my gut response
predictive
is to go,
programming.
My gut response is to go, okay, Dez. They don't really do that, Dez. And like, but then I remember that they made movies like Reefer Madness to make people afraid of weed, and then that has lasted for how long now? They made that the 20s or 30s. I think
they villainized the shit out of weed,
right? And we're still doing that. And so, yeah, I see what you're saying. I recognize that on some aspects, I'm ready to go like 100%. They'll do it, man. They absolutely will. But then if you talk to me about the moon landing, I'm like, Dez, why would they waste time doing that? I hear you.
Same thing with the CIA was controlling music. Like, what was that dude? Hoover, I think he was like funding the stuff for NWA and all them, pushing all that gangster rap. Like,
it's interesting.
Like it's a rabbit hole, man, that people ain't ready to talk about, because some of the people they idolize and love was really against you.
I just now learned about these conspiracies where like that's why certain people, kind of like in the 60s movement, like John Lennon and Jimi Hendrix, there's a lot of people who think that's why they were killed, is you're getting these kind of free thinkers out there, and that wasn't supposed to be part of it. And like,
get y'all up out of here.
I don't know the details of like their management and labels and how these things worked, but that was one of the things I've had other people tell me is like, yeah, like back in the day, it's like people like in the mob and stuff, they had their hands in anything that made money. Yeah. So, it's kind of like the cartel in Mexico. It's like, yeah, you go and stay at a resort, but the cartel's probably getting a kickback from here. They run it, right? And so it's like the mob probably doesn't care about controlling all the people, but they want to make money. And so they were in the record business, they were in the movie business and all that. And that just from them kind of running all these things, eventually the government's just like, hey, we're part of this too now.
Yeah.
And that's where it kind of starts crossing over. And because that's one of the rumors is that, like I even heard, Stevie Ray Vaughan from here. Stevie Ray Vaughan's from Dallas. And he was influenced by Jimi Hendrix, and he's got this great interview. I'll have to send it to you sometimes where he talks about how he thinks somebody had a hand in Jimi Hendrix's death, that he doesn't think, he did it himself.
Yeah.
And that it wasn't just, an overdose or whatever, that somebody did that to him, because you got this free thinker who's just kind of breaking the mold. And it's like, we wanted you to make some rock music, but not like this, And, but yeah, you hate to think that that's what it is. But then you sit there and think about it long enough, you're like, maybe that's what it is.
And then I found out some of these record labels be having insurance policies on your ass.
Well, yeah.
I'm like, damn. So, if they not reaping their money back, you know what I'm saying, maybe we can do a fake death, a little death hoax, and then people buying your stuff. We get this insurance money. You go hide in Hollow Earth. And you become a martyr, you know what I'm saying? They be...
I have a life insurance policy, and I joke with my wife all the time. I'm like, it's only for accidental death. You understand this, right? Yeah. Like, if they find out any foul play, it's not paying out.
Yeah. So, for real, I was like, damn, it's a game,
Yeah, I hear you. It's, and you want to think, like...
that everything's up and up. And
you just want to think people aren't that bad. But they are. You just know they are, right? And it's like, I think part of that's maybe just growing up in, like I've had a relatively good life, and I live in a good country that it's like we talk about all this conspiracy stuff and how bad the government may be, but like the actual country, like living here
it's great.
Is a great place,
Chilling.
It's like I'm very much like a patriotic person, and so you forget that there's these other countries around the world where just horrible things happen to people. And it's like, you don't want to believe people are terrible, but there's all the stuff there to show you how bad they can be.
Mm-hmm.
But you just hope that, like, man, maybe we can someday just get a couple really great people in power who just go but it just seems like such an uphill battle. I mean, even right now with this current election, it's like, these are the quote unquote choices we have.
Biden and Trump.
Biden and Trump, man. It's like,
it's them again. Ain't no third option.
I mean, Robert Kennedy's running, but they're not gonna.
He ain't getting no push. All you hear is Biden and Trump.
That's it. And he's running a campaign. He's doing it all. And
I thought Kanye was going.
Kanye
Twitter was going.
At this point, between Trump and Biden, I would have to take a serious look at Kanye.
Let's listen to what he's talking about, because
he's another one, right? I listen to him, and most of what he says sounds fucking insane. But every now and then he says something, and if
that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, and like what I realized with him, I've heard him say a couple things sometimes where it's like the point he's trying to make actually makes a lot of sense. He just says it with his Kanye energy and his Kanye words,
and it just
sounds nuts.
Yeah.
But if you kind of filter it down to the core point, you're like, yeah, he is right. The record label's like extremely predatory, and they'll prop people up to make a bunch of money, and they'll ruin other people's careers. So that it's like what he's saying is not wrong.
Yeah.
He's just. It's a kind of a crazy guy saying it,
Yeah, they done villainized.
Because even Trump will say something every now and then that I agree with, and I don't like him. I don't like Trump. And it's like I got to check my own ego, and it's like, hey, you cannot like someone and agree with one of their opinions. It's like, I do not like him, but what he just said
makes sense.
That's actually a good solid point. Yeah. But I don't know. The only thing I'm excited about with this election is Biden's old and senile. I think there's a real chance he just naturally passes away from old age, right? This is very possible. Or I don't want it to happen to him, but he could very much just like trip on a curb like old people do and bump his head, and that's a wrap, right? That old somebody in their 80s, that happens to him every day, right? So this could be the first election where we have one of the candidates pass away and they got to fill somebody in last minute, and then the other one's running from a prison cell. Right?
Yeah.
That's going to be a wild election.
That is, man.
So that's on my bingo card. It's like, I think Trump's going to serve a little bit of time in like a white-collar prison, like a real cush thing like Martha Stewart did. And I think Biden's probably just going to pass away from old age. Nothing nefarious. I think he's just going to
pass away.
Just going to pass,
How old is Biden?
I think he's 80.
80?
Yeah, because I remember, well, I don't want to tell his joke on here, but this comic had a hilarious bit about his dad getting older, but he was still younger than the president. And it was great. He's 81 years old. 81-year-olds die all the time.
Yeah.
And he doesn't look like a picture-perfect, healthy 80-year-old either.
Man,
so
some of the glitches he be having, I be like, bruh.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, is this even Biden? Who is this out here?
I think Kamala's going to get like a couple months of presidency this year when Joe passes away, and then they'll either run her or run somebody else last minute, and then Trump's going to be in prison, wearing like a white, prison uniform.
Yeah.
And his supporters, I think, are going to love it. I think they're going to eat it up.
Yeah.
And, we might have the first president running things from a cell because it's 100% legal.
Wow.
I looked it up. If you're a felon serving time, you are allowed, people can vote for you. You as a felon cannot vote for president, but you can become president, and you can be president while you're a felon.
Wow, but as a felon, you can't vote.
He will not be allowed to vote in this election because he is now a felon.
But you can run.
But he can run. Yeah, and he can win, and it's 100% legal.
How does that even make sense?
America, baby. Anyway, I'll close it out on that, man. I appreciate you taking time, coming over here. This is going to come out this week, so you got any shows or anything you want to plug? Man,
I have a show, Arlington Improv, Thursday, man, 7:30 show, headlining. Got a few people with me, Ed Nixon and Ava Jones and Mexican guy, I believe his name Ruben.
Okay.
We're going to rock out, have fun, man. Arlington Improv, where it all started, man.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So come check me out.
That's going to be good. I can vouch, man. Once I finally saw the long set, I loved it, man. It's great. And it's like, I'll happily watch you on another 10-minute set, but I really don't ever want to see you less than 20 now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I like watching you settle in
and
get going and get your, you've got your whole rhythm with it, and I like it, man.
Appreciate it, man.
If you want, I'm going to push you to move to New York.
Hey, light a fire under me.
Most of the time I tell people just stay here and do your thing, but it sounds like you really want to go, so I'm going to bother you now.
Appreciate it, dog.
Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it.
Me, bro.
The I'm a Fan of podcast, music, comedy, and more.